Hey!
Hey! We had a little bit of a delay, but we're right on track right now. I want to welcome everybody to another edition of Comics Cast. Let it out with my fantastic, super califragilistic, I don't know what you want to call him,
What?
co-host Rick. Rick, welcome to another great show.
What did you call it? Supercalifragilistic?
Let's not even go there. I just want to say
Okay.
welcome to you and thank you
you.
for being my co-host. How about we do that?
Roy Mercado is first.
Oh, he is first. He is
Again.
Again.
Molly Mag is here as well.
Yeah, Molly. So I want to welcome everybody to. Actually, I want to say welcome and happy Halloween. It is Halloween here in the United States. I don't know what they do in Denmark, but
also beside the Halloween, it's my 1 year anniversary as a co-host.
Oh, well, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you.
No big deal. I just wanted to mention it.
No big deal. It's a big deal. But yes, it is Halloween. It's October 31st. And in the spirit of Halloween, we have a treat, a special treat, special guest. It's a treat for both me and Rick because we are super big fans of our guest today. But before we introduce him, I just want to do our little bit of our plug for our YouTube. Rick, if you want to pull that up real quick.
Yep. Here we go.
And
wait, no, we didn't. Wait, where did it go? Here.
There you go. All right. So here we go. We have, if you found us on Facebook, we're just at Comics Cast. But if you're, we really want to push our presence on YouTube. So you need to add INDIE, that's Indie, in front of Comics Cast. And that's how you can find us on YouTube. And you can see from there's a plethora of videos. We want you to like and subscribe. Check out all the past episodes of Let It Out, as well as the Artist Roundtable, that's ART, as well as Rick's Mentor Block, which is 2 episodes. But I wanted to say that it's returning in a new, super improved form coming soon. It's going to be called is it Art Tricks? Is that what it's called?
The Art Trick with Rick and Wick. Yep,
yeah,
so with Wick Medina, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That should be super fun. So anyway, check out our plethora of videos, like and subscribe to both Facebook as well as YouTube. But let's get the show rocking and rolling.
Yeah, let's go do what we came here for.
That is so right. So I'm going to do the virtual drum roll, and let's get our guest in. And yes!
Hey!
I want to welcome Mr. Cary Nord, all the way from the great country of Canada. We have some, we have international representation. We got the United States, we got Denmark, and we have Canada. And we're so happy to have Cary Nord. Cary, thank you for being on our show. I can't tell you how many weeks we've been just so hyped and so pumped to actually get you here on the show. So thank you for being here. You want to say hello to everybody?
Hey guys, well thank you first for having me on. It's fun. I haven't done one of these in a while, so this is good. And hi, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining the show.
Awesome. So we started a little late, so let's go ahead and just get into the meat and potatoes of the show now that we've introduced Cary here. So let's move to the elevator pitch, and that is basically the part of the show where we get to know our guest. He or she gets to tell their story, their artistic journey. And good thing to know is that you will have more than a floor to talk about yourself in terms of like a typical elevator pitch. You can basically have a whole skyscraper to talk about your illustrious career because we've been following it. We love your art, and it's just great to talk about that journey from where you started to where you are today. So with that being said, I will share some artwork for everybody to check out. It'll be the visual backdrop to your mic story. So go ahead, Cary. The mic is in your hands, and let's do this elevator pitch.
So for the story itself, or folklore, is that what we're talking about?
Oh, we're talking about just your artistic journey. So basically, from when you started drawing up to folklore, because we'll get into folklore a little later. So go ahead.
Cool. When I started drawing, I think we talked about this yesterday. Basically, I think someone gave me a pat on the back when I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and ever since, for drawing, and ever since then, I've had a pencil in my hand, and people kept saying I was good at it, fools, and I just took that and ran with the ball.
Uh,
I don't know, man. Like I was drawing. I was a big fan of drawing. I was, when I was a kid, I was drawing like horses and hockey players and football players and all that kind of stuff, and animals. That's kind of what I tended to draw. And then by the time I was like 12 or so, I found my first comic book, or bought my first comic book. My parents would never buy them for me. So I had to get myself a job and go out and buy my own. And as soon as I saw that, about a year later, I figured out that people do this for a living, and that was that. Yeah, I was just like drawing every day, and I got into the business when I was 19, so I was pretty 19. Young. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like super young, and no idea what I was doing. And
apparently you knew a lot of what you're doing, because you had a huge fan base, and we're looking here at your ArtStation page, and I think you're just really super humble here to talk about your drawing ability here. But let's talk a little bit about, you said you started when you were 19. How did you break into like mainstream comics? Did somebody come knocking at your door after seeing some of your artwork, or did you have like a fairy godmother that answered your prayers, or what exactly happened in terms of like breaking into the industry?
Boy, I think I was like the.
Uh-oh. I think he crashed right there because he went completely out.
Oh no.
Hopefully he can get back up as soon as possible. While he does that, let's continue slowly going through the gallery and just talk.
Yeah.
Yes. This time it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I promise. He went completely out and I think maybe internet.
Okay, let me send him a quick message just to join back in.
Yeah.
And then we'll go ahead and look at some of his art.
I really got it. This show is haunted.
Yes.
Also, when it's not even Halloween, it's haunted, because this happens all year round for us.
I know we've had a few technical hiccups. I think StreamYard is going through some growing pains, and we've had some technical issues, but we're going to try and work through it. I just sent him another message, so hopefully we'll have him back in. But here, let's go ahead and go through some of his artwork here. And so you can see here.
Plethora of art.
Yes, he does. So
I got to use that word.
You did. So just so you know, our audience, if you check out that scrolling ticker below, this is how you can get in. You can be a fan of Cary, just like Rick and I. He's on Instagram. He has a website, and you can also request original art or purchase original art at Essential Sequential. But right now we're looking at his ArtStation page, and you can see here that his artwork is so fantastic. You see this grayscale, black and white, and then when he does color, it just adds that extra degree of oomph. It just really is really punchy. And we'll talk a little bit more about Cary's talents, because not only is he a phenomenal penciler,
right.
he's an inker. Yeah, so I'm just reading the comments here. He's a phenomenal penciler, inker, colorist. I think he's even dabbling in lettering. But as we get to the latter part of the show, we're going to talk about his Kickstarter campaign, which was Folklore, and that's where he's actually trying writing as well. But we're going to save talking about that a little later. Hopefully, we'll have him back here soon. So let's go ahead and look at some of this, some more of his ArtStation work here. And Rick, this is just another one of his really, I think we got a preview of this kind of style artwork. This is kind of like a Baroque style, which is kind of like
Can you zoom in? Like there's a button down below. No, there's a button up below on the picture, like a square.
Yeah, we apparently we can't zoom in. Let me see as much as I would like.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can see that this style is a very I'm going to say it's kind of like a Baroque look, where it's kind of like that dark, having like a dark palette versus a white palette, and having your imagery come out of it, and it adds for this really, really dramatic look.
Absolutely. I love it so much.
Yeah, and Cary is a master of it. Just really, really cool. And it's sort of like you can see that he's using really just general shapes, but his mastery of color and texture just adds such a dramatic impact to it. There's so much drama in this. I mean, you could actually, it's a static image, but it feels like it's moving. I mean, when you look at it, just incredible artwork. And then here we go. There's another piece. And this is showing some of his process. You can see the grid in there where he's working with some proportions. But you can see from this to this, I mean, look at those dramatic shadows that he's added to it, which basically just adds just even more drama to it. And he is just a total master of like using simple forms and simple shapes to really create this illusion of fabric and 3D. Yeah,
he makes it makes it look so simple.
It does, and I think that's what it's definitely an example of that less is more. He doesn't have to complicate things with lots of lines, tons of shading and hatching. He just has to draw a few lines, and your mind will fill in the blanks. So just in really incredible things.
And that also keeps the audience is alert in because they have to make up the forms themselves a little bit because it's not completely drawn out.
Yep. And I see Cary is back, but I think we probably need to set up his cam again. Let me get him in and we'll talk. Hold on 1 second. Cary, he's back.
Here, you're muted, Cary.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I think you're using your iPad camera right now, right?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
The computer just bricked right up.
Okay, it's no problem.
Yeah. I saw you completely jumped out without warning. So I guess it was the computer that switched off or something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna just let's right now let's continue the elevator pitch with just your iPad cam, and then when we get to the drawing part of it, we'll let your computer kind of like continue booting up. So go ahead and get your desktop primed. Go ahead and launch Firefox. Go ahead and let it go, and then we'll put that we'll just leave that sitting on the side, and we'll use your camera from your iPad, and we'll just keep on going for now. Sound good to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So on monitor 2, can you see what we're seeing, which is basically the three of us and the art?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay. Good. Okay. So while you were away, I was just going through some of your ArtStation pages, and we were just talking about your mastery of just less is more. Creating those really nice compositions without having to use like a lot of different lines. Just really, you're not going crazy with hatch work, but you're so good at just using a simple line to define like fabric and shadows and things like that. So if you could, we're just going to go through some of your ArtStation pages and we'll just talk and then hear what you have to say about it.
Sure.
Is that cool? All right.
Yeah.
So this composition that we're seeing right here, I'm not exactly sure what is this like. It's kind of like was this a statue piece that was designed, or do you want to talk a little bit about what this particular composition is for?
Yeah, this was for a Valiant book called Britannica, which I don't actually know. I just did covers for them. So it was a book. I think it had to do with like the Romans and sort of the supernatural influence or something that was happening. I don't really know a lot about it, but one of this take is like sort of this, I don't know, I guess some sort of demon, but in the form of a bust.
Yeah, it's
like a Roman bust.
Yeah, it's like a demon Caesar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he has the Cthulhu headdress instead of the leaves, the leaf crown. Yeah, the golden leaves.
Reminds me of like a male Medusa.
Yeah. And we were just telling our audience about how you're able to block this composition out, using this grid here to create perspective, but you don't go, like I said, you don't go really crazy with like hatch work. You just define your positive and negative spaces, and then just, like the fabric, you just put in some negative space here. And I was telling everybody that your mind, the audience, fills in all the blanks because you're just so good at creating this really basic. I say basic not in a bad way. It's just you're so good at mastery of forms that it just fills in the blanks. We see this, and then we have this. Look at this. I mean, Rick. Look at the base. I was looking at this base here.
It's
crazy.
I always think
that's something I learned from. I took a couple oil painting courses from a realist painter back in the day, and that was one of the. That's basically the first thing you do is block in your shadows and your form, and once you get that down, most of the work's done, and the rest is just like minor little, shading and blending and smaller forms.
I had a feeling. I come from a oil painting background myself, so when I've seen your stuff, I had that kind of feeling that it was the same approach. I saw something familiar in it, and I think that was what drew me to your art back. When was that I saw you first time? I think it was the Daredevil for Marvel stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
And I've been in love with it ever since, because you show that this process basically works no matter the medium you work in. Almost. Like, I think it would be more difficult to do with let's say watercolor, for example, but digital, I usually recommend people to start doing it this way, because it makes it simpler for newcomers to understand form and all that.
A lot of people want to go right into like the hatching and the all the lines and it can get it's got its place, it's fine, but if you don't get those forms down, all the hatching in the world won't really save drawing,
I totally agree with you, because when I look at this, it's the form, it's the composition, and I think when people go hatch crazy, it just makes it busy and muddy. And when we see what you're doing, I'll use the word basic or simple, but that's not in a bad way. I'm just saying that is by mastering these techniques, it adds for a more impactful, composition. And I think
what do they say about not that I'm implying my work is perfect, but they say about perfection is it's not the more you add, it's the more you take away.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. And
because as we said as well, the fact that you're not putting everything in, you invite the viewer to finish the job themselves with their eyes, and that makes the piece of art more like calling to the viewer, like inviting to the viewer, if that makes sense. Because they take part in the creation, so to speak, in their own minds by.
Yeah, that's the beauty of trying to capture the energy of a sketch in a finished piece. Like the sketches always have so much energy, and it's exactly because of that. The more you define, the more energy you lose, I think. So it's been this constant battle of trying to find that one line that sort of like is in between those two extremes.
That is so true. I think you found the line, whatever that one line is. All of your compositions, you found it, and it shows in there. And it's so great that we came to this, because this is Conan the Barbarian, and you won an Eisner. You won an Eisner Award for this. Is that correct? Your run with Conan. You want to talk a little bit about that while we?
For my first, we did a 0 issue, which was sort of an introduction to the series, and it was just 12 pages, and basically that was the first time Dave Stewart and I had worked together. He's the colorist, and I had told my editor that I didn't want to work with inkers, because I kept, it kept on, it's just never what I wanted, right? So I was like, can we just shoot for my pencils? And he was like, no, that's a horrible idea. But then I was like, we were trying out inkers, and I just didn't find anyone I liked, and eventually I just had to move on. So they already had Dave picked as a colorist, and he just decided to give it a shot, so he just did some digital painting over it, and it looked amazing, and everyone was like, okay, this is the look, and off we went. And then Yeah, that first issue, 12 pages, is what we got the Eisner for. It was a, I think, best single issue or something like that.
And that was your first time working for Conan as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, actually, funny enough, we were talking earlier before I got cut off about how I got in, and my very first sample that got me a job was actually a Conan sample. And I think my very first gig was doing a Conan pinup. Or my first gig from Marvel, anyway, when they still had Conan. So that was in the early 90s somewhere. And yeah, that was my first. So it's kind of came full circle for me. So I really wanted to draw Conan when I first got in. And then, you know, Marvel basically shut the book down, I think, for a few years.
What?
And then,
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
they did.
I think it ended in 96 or 7 or something and just kind of died. And then it went to Dark Horse a few years later, and I heard about it. So I tried out and I got the job. So amazing.
And your very first finished a piece of work for it, you win an Eisner Award.
I know.
Yeah. How's that? What goes through your mind when you're like, okay, my first time I work here, I get an Eisner. Where to go from where to go from here, right?
I know.
Yeah, right.
Must be a
little but let's talk a little bit about this composition here. So just so I'm clear, did you do the colors, or did somebody do digital colors on top of your artwork? What this particular piece?
This was a commission piece. So this is just me painting.
Okay.
So it's all traditional. This one.
Yes.
And basically what I do is just you know, do my sketch, and if you look closely, you can kind of see there's pencil crayon. So as I kind of work in a weird, I don't know if it's a process, it's just making a mess and trying to bring it all back together somehow.
I'm a big fan of messes.
My process here is to go from, you know, I'll do like a light pencil sketch and then define it with some pencil crayon, and then paint over everything and make a mess and go back and refine with pencil crayons, and you know, until the forms start coming together.
Oh my gosh!
Complete. You can see where I lose interest in like the legs and the feet. It's like, meh.
Oh well, you know what? I didn't see that.
No, well, then again, it's not. That's the part that the comic book viewers isn't looking anyways, right? They're looking at the face. They're looking at the chests of the male.
That's actually something I borrowed from Frank Frazetta.
Yes.
He'd often do that kind of stuff too, where he'd, like, you know, have this amazing central image, and then, you know, the edges start getting kind of like, you know, whatever, just block it in and don't worry about it. But it's also an effective way to like really focus the viewer on what you want them to focus on too, right? Like the main image of the. And
speaking, going back a little on oil paintings, most oil painters do that as well, where they only make basic shapes for the things outside of what is important, and makes it more and more blurry than the less important things get. And you're using that in the same way here, focusing the details of where you want the viewer to look.
Yeah, I agree completely, and I think that's I think even like modern photography, they use a bokeh lens. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but when it basically will blur the background, or it'll like vignette the image, so that way whatever your focal point is, that becomes the central, you know, attention grabber. And, you know, basically modern technology or bokeh lenses are catching up with, you know, what oil painters and what Cary is doing right here. I just, you know, zooming in here, I'm seeing, you know, you when you zoom out, you don't actually see like some of the colors that you put in here, but I see like greens now that, you know, you think it's just a warm composition, but you can see how you built that up. The veins in his arms and like this belt. It's just, you know, you said it was a mess. I think if this is a mess, this is what kind of mess that I want to strive for. This is just, you know, really cool. And I like the attitude that you're able to, like, with this female character here at the bottom. She kind of has that alluring look to her, but you're just doing really simple things, and the highlights, you know, on her nose, her eyelids, and just like above her lip, just really incredible attention to detail. And then even this little shadow that you have from the axe, it's suggested, but, you know, when you zoom in here, you see it a little bit more how you've built that up. And then like you were talking before, there's no need to, like, you said it was like you just losing interest, but I don't really think you need to like go into insane detail with these skulls. It's enough. People can figure out.
It's a strategic loss of interest, you know, like it's you
yeah.
know, I also know it's not important to the whole the composition, right? Like you can, that's where you can fudge a little bit or you know.
I'm gonna have to say that you were this illustration was foreshadowing, because when Conan came back to Marvel, he did this whole thing where Conan was in the Marvel universe and he was interacting with all the modern Marvel characters. And if you look here, there's a little suggestion. This looks kind of like the Punisher skull with his little belt here. I want to say that you predicted.
Cary called it.
Cary called it. You know, Conan was gonna be guest starring with Punisher in the Marvel universe. So
hilarious. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you didn't even know it, but you called it. But you know, that's incredible. You know, your career in terms of just, you know, your first big gig, and you know, it's a character that everybody knows about. You did a great homage to like the Frazetta style, and then you win an Eisner Award. And I mean, it's just a shame that it shut down like after you did it. But of course, it came back. So maybe we can see you do some more Conan stuff in the future. But let's keep on going here. Let's see what our next thing here.
I mean,
I saw this. What's the story behind this piece?
Oh man, so my buddy in Calgary is this guy named Spencer S. Brooks, and he's a filmmaker. And so he did this. He's got this film out. It's a short called Sharkosaurus, and there's a second one called The Ballad of Sharkosaurus. And he actually went and made this like he had a Kickstarter, and he put together a 17-foot long like shark, like
what?
You know, that you can wear, and it's pretty incredible. So we actually did this little like short film. I got to help out a little bit.
Oh.
And, it was pretty fun. And then I, you know, did some promo work for him and a cover, or movie poster, I guess. So that's what this is. It was really fun. It's like such a novel, kind of, you know, hilarious character, but also kind
it is. You know? And this is all before Sharknado. This is I
think Sharknado was probably the first, yeah.
Oh, Sharknado was first. Okay.
Yeah, that must have been like 20. When was that? 2007, 8, 9. I don't know.
I don't know.
But we just
too many
did like you just did Sharkosaurus like maybe 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, I guess Sharknado came out before.
But yeah, I mean, it's in that genre.
Yeah, and just for our audience to know, Cary can do hatch work. He doesn't just do blocky stuff. He's a master of hatch work, because you can see it in this illustration here.
Oh man, I wish I could take credit for that, but that's just the what do you call it on Clip Studio? There's that hatch tool. That's
I was about to say that looked a bit too clean to be.
No. This is Cary. Cary drew every line. That's
Cary. That's
100% Cary.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's a great story. So let's keep on going here. And here, you know, some more of the Marvel heroines here. This, I don't know. You want to talk a little bit about this too, in terms of this particular? Was this a like a commission, or was it used for
this
official
was for
artwork?
a Comic-Con in France, Roubaix. Roubaix. I'm not sure how to say it. And they just wanted a poster. They brought me out there a few years ago. And yeah, it was a really great little convention. And I just did, you know, quick little poster for them as a thank you. And there we go.
Shoot.
A couple of my favorite Marvel characters right there.
Yeah. And again, it's a great composition. And you did the colors too for this, right? In terms of
I pull in, I'm seeing how sloppy they were. Oh, damn. Should have, like,
well, I'm gonna say, like, I'll say it again. If messy and sloppy is what you're describing, this is my goal. This is what I want to do.
I mean, you can't really say messy and sloppy when you're messy and sloppy can win Eisner Awards. So.
Yeah, right.
That is so true.
Built a career out of it.
Yeah. I want to start doing messy and sloppy as well. Then.
Yes. Messy and sloppy. That's going to be we're going to hashtag that, messy and sloppy.
Wait, Tierrell, if that's the case, then you'll win tons of Eisner Awards.
Yeah, right.
I can't be as, I have I haven't won an Eisner Award. I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I kind of, this is a fun style that I'm seeing. I mean, I know some of this stuff from your ArtStation page is, I think you sort of like were surprised when I found that I was going to show this, and I imagine this is some of your older artwork, because we're going to compare this with your new style, which is the Folklore style.
This isn't that old. This is actually from the same convention in Rubai, and it's maybe 2-3 years old now.
Okay. Well, it said it was posted 2 years ago at least, but that doesn't mean it's 2 years old.
But no, it is. That's about 2019, I'd say. So not that old.
Yeah,
it's funny how people like point out styles, but I think there's several styles going on. Sometimes, it's you pick the style that's more appropriate for the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing something kind of, where I can have a little more cartoony of it, edge to it, I'll bring that out. Mm-hmm. It's sort of an intuition thing. It's not really an intentional, like super thought about thing,
Mm-hmm. Well, for you, it's intuitive. I think for everybody else, we're like in awe of it, and we're like going, "Wow, Cary is very versatile with his styles. He can emulate, things. When I saw this, it kind of reminded me. I don't know if you're familiar, and I'm going to probably mispronounce his name. Joe Chiodo. Do you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I saw this, I said, "Man, it has that vibe, but it's uniquely Cary at the same time, and it's the strokes." That you use, Go ahead.
It's something I really like about you, Cary, because it's something I completely agree with. I see a lot of artists asking, like in Facebook groups and all that, how do I find my style? Like everybody is worried about finding their styles, and I'm like, why not make sure that you're able to draw what you're asked instead of one specific style?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's like you mentioned Joe Chiodo, and I remember seeing his stuff, way back in the day. Mm-hmm. He had a little art book out, and I got that, and I did spend a lot of time looking at it. And there's definitely parts of him that still come to mind. So it's like when I'm in it comes out from time to time when I do certain characters or certain, themes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it fun, right?
But I think that's how you get your style. If you're talking about how to get a style, from what I can see from people and talking to other creators, it's mostly just an amalgamation of all of your favorite artists and not being good enough to do what they're doing. So you're just like you see, like trying to do what I was a huge Frazetta fan, so I was wasn't trying to do Frazetta, but I was trying to do Frazetta too. So just borrowing all these things from him. I also was a huge Adam Hughes fan and a huge Nola fan and a huge Mark Silvestri fan.
Yes.
And so I'd see like, I really like the way this guy did this one thing.
Cary is exploding.
I liked how Silvestri is doing this, and you start putting it together in your own little way, and that's how you get your style.
Exactly. I think it's like it's taking all of these, I guess, the styles or the looks of like your favorite artists, and blending them together, and then bam, before you know it, you have your style per se. But it's not like you're like I think that's the imposter syndrome that we kind of all feel. We kind of feel like, if I try and draw like Mark Silvestri, am I just copying him? Am I just emulating him or whatever? But then if you have like lots of different artists that you're fan of, and then you kind of like take bits and pieces of it, and next thing you know, you do that little bit of practicing here and there, and next thing you know, you've come up with your style, and it's not something that you I think are intentionally seeking. It just happens. And I think Cary, we're looking at this right here, and it's just so neat to see. You were just listing. That's like a who's who of my favorite artists as well. And now I'm looking at here, and I see those influences. Just incredible work. Let's keep on going here. The next piece. I looked at this when I saw this. This actually reminded me of a little bit of a Josh Middleton. I don't know if you know Josh Middleton, but I know he went through this experimental stage too, where he did this, and I like the muted tones that you did here as well.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about this? This is like a really neat style as well. You want to?
Yeah, this is traditional again. I think I was basically just doing it on colored paper as my backdrop. So and then you add tones on top of that. So I get like a little. I think for the Wonder Woman there, it's you just look. I made a nice little skin tone, and then the rest is just done in pencil crayon, I believe.
Okay, so, that is the secret. Pencil crayon.
Yeah. So. Yeah, those are my kind of go-tos. Was just a little bit of watercolor. The white acrylic was very important, and then pencil crayon to kind of fill in the shading.
Yeah. I mean, I almost look at this, and there's artists that are actually emulating this style digitally, and you're doing it here traditionally, and it's just so refreshing to see this look in a traditional sense. And then we have this.
I love how you did how simply you made metal look so good. The metal here just looks wow.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just like sometimes it's funny when I'm doing actually any kind of art now. I've been doing it for almost 30 years professionally, and I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. And every time I start a piece, like I have no idea how I'm going to finish this, and I want to throw it out, and I have to like sit down and tell myself, nope, you got to get this done. So I just push through, and then you find the breakthrough. It's like, okay, now I can see the path. And
yeah.
But there's always a point where I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to save it.
But that's also the fun part, isn't it? Sometimes going in, just let your mind wander until you find, hey, okay, I see now where I should be going with this, right? That's a fun. That can be fun if you're not on a tight deadline.
That's a fun moment when you get the breakthrough. But yeah, I'd sure like to know what I'm doing a lot more. I think we had a little more confidence in the part where it's like I can see from point A to point B and know exactly how to get there without all the uncertainty that goes in between.
Same here.
You're just so humble because you keep on saying that you don't feel like you know if this is the right direction, and then we only see the finished product, which is just fantastic. And I wanted to ask you about this piece because I see a little bit of Bill I'm going to mispronounce
Sinkovich,
Sinkovich, yeah. Sienkiewicz, or I don't remember how you pronounce it, but I was a big fan of his.
Continue, Gerald. Continue butchering
his name. Rick is making notes so he can say, yeah. But I see this piece, and I was a big fan of like an '80s Elektra Assassin that he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like what you did with this because he can go crazy. He can get super abstract, and you kept yours grounded a bit. And actually, was it done? This is the Kingpin. Was he done before Into the Spider-Verse, or was it after? Or
this is just commissioned at a convention, I think. Probably. When did that come out? After?
I think it's been a couple years. Rick, how long has it?
Wasn't it 18?
Probably, yeah.
17.
But I will say that for the Sinkovich for me also had the he just nailed Kingpin. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
It was so huge. But I love the scope.
2018.
I just tried to make a more scaled down version of, I think, what I remember from Elektra Assassin back in the day. But I love that shape of him. Just that giant hulking.
Exactly. I love
it. Silhouette.
Big fat hands that just like murder people.
So did you do this on the yellow background? Like you started with the yellow, right, and then build it up from there?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I've got like a pad of different colored paper just for pastels. I think.
I love that. I love that. I like having fun with the different painted backgrounds as well to build up.
Yeah, you just pull out. You just build up on top of it.
Yeah, there's nothing more fun for me to like start with a completely black background and just add in the lights and already there you can almost see a finished piece if you do it correctly. And and here you do it with the blacks, and then you start adding the whites, and just by that you start to see the complete product. And I love it.
It doesn't take much to define a form. When you look at the forearms, there's hardly anything going on there, just like a few little stains and, some strategic lines, and that's it.
Yeah. How did you achieve that blood? Almost looks like blood splatter watercolor. It's like,
that's his own. That's his own.
Yeah. It's, you just splatter. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
You fight a fan at Comic-Con, Joel. That's how it happens.
Yes, it's like he cut himself at the con. He like goes like this, and then he like puts it. You know, when Cary says blood, sweat, and tears, he really puts his blood into like.
You stole my joke.
You either commit or you don't commit.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All in, all in, all in. You got to go all in. So let's keep on going here. Here's another Conan.
I love your Conans. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, this is an example of because I've been really trying hard to just and you know, Cary, you're probably just gonna say it was something that you didn't plan, but when I look at this, because I look at it and I'm like the diagonals that you use and the body gesture here. You know, this is what I think a lot of aspiring artists, me included, is that you know you can come up with a composition. You want to draw Conan the Barbarian, but what makes it come alive? You know, what makes it seem like it's not just cartoony? And you know, you may want to go for that cartoon look or whatever, but I like how you did the slight, you know, his head's tilted down, the slight, you know, slump that he has here, and then you have, you know, his sword going across his shoulder in the opposite direction, which creates like this X.
Yeah.
And I just look at it, and it's like your mastery of just, you know, you have his eyes and his burrow, you know, his eyebrows and how his eyes are kind of obscured in shadow, but you almost get this feeling that, you know, there's just more to it than just those typical poses where they have him just sort of like, you know, I'm gonna go do this, but you've captured something more. Now, I said all this, and you're probably gonna say I just went with it or whatever. I'm hoping that there was something planned in it. Did you have something planned when you did this?
Again, I mean, these are it looks like convention sketches. I kind of forget, but yeah, I mean, like, I think in general, I actually don't like doing splash pages where, you know, characters are jumping at you and, you know, all the excitement. Like, it's never been my vibe. I'll do it, but I feel like I'm most attracted to sort of quiet moments like this, and like you know, that other side of comics where the talking heads are actually the fun part for me. I get to draw like people, you know, having a thought or something. Like, that's kind of really interesting. So I prefer that stuff. So I love little moments like this where you just like, you know, I you know, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking like, oh, he's probably just, you know, coming off of a battlefield or something, you know, like he's like what to himself.
Yeah, he's like wondering, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight? You know, something like that.
Right, real.
I just took down the king's army, and you know, I'm kind of hungry right now. What do I do?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I think that's brilliant what you just said, because that is another thing that's defining about your artwork is that, you know, even if you don't like doing splash pages or pinups or whatever, because they, you know, at least the generic kind, you know, if you're going to do it, you want to have a story or an implied story or something that makes the viewer kind of like go, what is the story behind this piece? And that's what I'm seeing. There's like this implied narrative that's being told.
That comes from, I'm a huge fan of like, you know, 20th century illustrators, which I'm sure a lot of us are. And I think Rockwell said something like that where that always stuck out to me. Was everything you draw should have a story to it, right? Like, you know, something else going on other than what you're seeing, you know. Otherwise you're just doing figure drawing, right? So you want to have like something, you know, to center the emotions around, and that tells a bit of a story.
Yeah, mission accomplished. You did a great job.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So we're going to show just a few more pieces, because I think we want to move into. I know that our audience and myself and Rick, we all want to see the magic happen. We want to see you actually execute some of those. I also
want to see. I also want to hear more about his folklore.
Oh yes, and we're gonna dig deep into folklore, because I wanted to show all of this, because this is like a good foundation for, you know, where Cary has been and where he's going, because we're seeing a lot of traditional artwork here that Cary's been doing. You know, he's been talking about his techniques in terms of blocking things out, using the crayons, and acrylic paints. And this is what I'm going to say about Cary, is that I think that a lot of new artists, they're really, it's a great time to be an artist in the sense that you can jump into digital art like right away. Yeah. But if you don't learn the foundation, if you don't learn how traditional works. When you build up color, Rick was mentioning this, and you mentioned it too. When you have like a colored paper background and seeing what the values are behind it, and as you layer it and you build things on top of it, it gives you an appreciation for the buildup and the techniques that you can employ when you start moving to digital. But I think that's one of the really cool things about seeing your artwork is that we're getting that foundation. We're seeing where you have totally mastered it. You mentioned that you did this at like conventions, and you're doing them on a fly. And yet it's so good. To see that, and that's where we're going with Folklore, because when we get to Folklore, I'm gonna save it in terms of like what that new look that you're going for. But let me actually go out here, and then I wanted to show. Yeah, I guess we're near the end here or we're actually right around here. We saw some of your Conan work. Let's pick of these last pieces. Is there anything here you want to maybe talk about before we start talking a little bit about Folklore? Just to talk about maybe a different style or a different vibe.
I mean, what about to the left here? There's some
like this?
Not the buildings.
Is that okay with you, Cary? You want to talk about your? Okay. I saw this, and your same principles that you apply to figure drawing, you can apply that. You're a master of this, applying it to architectural things. You are not drawing every brick. You're not drawing every window.
Yes,
I'm lazy. I'm very, very lazy.
So
no, it's not lazy. You're just focused on what matters.
I'm going to take a shout out to Chad Noss.
No shout out.
Chad, he was another guest, and he drew like almost every window. It's crazy what he does.
Not just almost every window. It's insane how much detail he puts into things. And I'm like you. I like to focus where my details, where they in my view matters. I can understand the people that wants to put details in everything because it looks good. It makes people stop and look more at the page, or and all that. But again, I have wrists, right? I have a wrist that hurts just thinking about how many windows.
Okay. Okay. Cary, give us your lowdown on this particular page.
Well, one thing about you can do it with hyper detail. That's a great way to make art as well, and it's impressive and people love it. But what you have to have either way is that balance, right? Like the composition. So if you look at that first big panel, it should work so that the eye comes right around to hopefully the guy in the red jacket right there, right? Like that's and the post office next to him. Those are the two big important things of this entire panel, other than establishing the setting. So all the heavy blacks on the top of the buildings, and it's kind of no detail at all on the road. It's hopefully all leading your eye right around the entire page, right?
Yes.
So that's sort of the goal. So you can do that with a lot of detail, or you can do it without, and just imply the detail. And that's up to I think taste after a while. Like as long as you're keeping the central. You're keeping focus on what you're trying to say in the panel.
Yeah, for sure. You nailed it. It actually reminded me when I saw this particular piece of two things. One is how you compose this and using the effective, it's black and white, but you use red as a highlight or as a visual device to lead the viewer's eye. Schindler's List, there was a black and white movie, and you'd always see like he would have the girl in the red dress. There would be like, a red flower or something like that. He would, and I saw this and I go, this is Cary flexing, showing some of his storytelling. And I like how you said this, you frame, it's almost like you're framing this area with these, you use these blocked, shadowed buildings, and they kind of like as an establishing shot, they show the horizon, they frame the city composition. And then you have the white, and then you have like little red accents, and it leads your eye. And
I was about to say, is that red, or I'm going completely colorblind?
Yeah.
But there is red. There's red. Okay, good.
Yeah, and he then of course we were talking about he wanted to draw your attention to the guy here in the red jacket and the post office, which leads into here. This is a Another thing about Cary was talking about when he does pinups, you know, he wants there to be a narrative, even though it's only a single image. And whether it's an implied action, there's also an implied narrative. And now we get to see, like I said, Cary flexing here with his sequential storytelling. I don't even know. I mean, I think that's the thing that effective sequentials, it's like you don't even have to see the word bubbles. You don't even have to see the text. But if you can look at it right here, you can kind of get a gist of what's going on here. So yeah, and then we have Saeed saying here, Sin City, Frank Miller, definitely do that. And I want to say my second thing that I drew from this is I noticed that you are what's essential sequential, and I believe one of your studio mates, I think he's since passed tragically, Jean-Paul Leon. Yes, he was a master as well, just like you, doing these urban, you know, cityscapes, but blocking things out. You know, he would do like these really nice shadowed areas and very strategic highlights. And I see the same thing in here.
You know what I hated about him was I think he's probably around my age, and he's just been like a master since the day he showed up in the scene. Like I remember looking at him when I was like, you know, 2 years into the business, and he's doing this amazing stuff. And then I met him, and he's like, you know, maybe a little bit older than me or something, but you know, I'm like, I'm not even sure how old he was when he died. Like, it wasn't. Do you happen to know?
Yeah, too young.
Yeah, he was too young. But yeah, that was a guy that's just a master. The day he's like stepped onto the scene, he just like he had no sucking period. So I remember looking at his work when he's another guy that kind of a large influence on me. In terms of how he blocked things out and how he didn't really get bogged down with details, but yet there was so many details present, and there were the right kind of details. It wasn't just like, you know, more
arbitrary.
bricks. It was like he drew a shoe like super accurately, and I still have this picture of this Converse shoe he drew on someone's foot, and I'm like, man, like, he just nailed it, you know. And that was like the highlight of this page for me.
Yeah, the best Converse shoe ever. But I have to say, I look at this too, and mission accomplished again, Cary. You're not too shabby yourself. Jean-Paul Leon was great, great artist. You have an Eisner Award too, so you know you don't take away from, you know, your brilliance as well. And it's great that, you know, you got to know him and you got to appreciate his artwork, and you can see that his influence is alive and well in artists like you. Taking that step forward. But now that we've got to see, you know, the traditional side of here, let's talk a little bit about. I'm saying about. I think I'm starting to be like Canadian by.
Wow!
So, hey, that's the highest form of compliment right there. I want to talk. If I feel like I can talk like Cary, maybe one day I can draw like Cary. That's what my mantra. That's what I'm going to go for. But here, let's talk about. Just briefly, actually, let me share something else, because we're going to go into our live drawing pretty soon. So let me stop this and let me share another screen. And this is the evolution in Cary's style. Let me pull up the PDF 1 second. And there it is. Share. Okay. All right. So now we talked about Cary and how he's just phenomenal when it comes to traditional folklore. You know, he's done, it's like the next step in his career. He's done other people's IPs. He's worked for Marvel. He's done Kingpin. He's done the X-Men. You know, I think this is the thing that we're seeing with indie creators these days, is that there's something about doing indie comics now where you get to tell your own story. You're free from those bureaucracy or the tyrant editor that's going to tell you that you have to do certain things or what. Now you can be completely unchained. You know, you can basically do your thing, create to your heart's content. And this is what we're going to see with Folklore. I was just mesmerized when I saw this campaign, and you know, it was just enough of a tease. And I told Cary about this, is that, you know, you don't have to go into spoiler territory, because I think your art's going to speak volumes already in terms of that, and it's going to just intrigue people. Unfortunately, the Kickstarter campaign is over, which was phenomenal. It definitely met its goal and then some.
Saeed managed to back it. I know.
Yes,
thank you.
And I did too. I backed it. I backed it as well. It was just phenomenal stuff. So Let's look at this, Cary. From I told you about this. This is going to be like 1,000-foot overview. Let's just give as much detail about, or as little detail without spoiling things about folklore, and why you decide to go in this direction, and just a little bit about this particular piece. We're going to revisit this and talk more about the specifics, but just give our audience a taste of what folklore is about.
Folklore is about this young lady here. So she finds herself basically, you can tell I'm not a writer, hey? Like words. So she's in a human world that this is a mythical land, doesn't really exist, but it's sort of loosely based off of Slavic and Russian folklore, and just that imagery, which I really loved. So this is our main character, Soul, and she's finds herself growing up basically human, right? But and in this world where like religion is outlawed, and any kind of magic and all of that, like is all outlawed, and she starts developing powers, which is a problem for her and a problem for her family. So that's kind of what the first issue deals with, is just this emergence powers, where they're coming from, and sort of tackling this idea of now you're stuck in this world that's all of a sudden hostile towards you for what you are, and you have to hide that, and that's kind of some of the issues I'm tackling.
Okay. You did a wonderful job with that, and that's what I'm gonna. I know that you're probably like, how can I not say too much to reveal things?
Right.
And you mentioned you're not a writer, but you are a writer. This
But
is
then
what I
again-
wanted to talk.
Then again, what do people need to know? It has Cary Nord art in it. It has fantasy. It has beautiful women. It has magic. It has magic / non-magic.
Yes.
Get it? It's good stuff. I was about
Yes,
to say
it is.
the other S word there, but I managed to turn it around to stuff.
Good
Nice save.
catch. Yeah, and this is what I want to say about Cary, because this, as we get, I want people to do a screen capture this that are going to be possibly doing live drawing with us, because a hint, this is what we're going to be drawing first for our live drawing challenge. But I wanted you to show, this is the evolution of style that Cary is doing, because now this is what is so impressive about Folklore, is that Cary is doing this 100% digital, and he's doing it 100% digital on an iPad. I mean, using Clip Studio Paint, and all the naysayers that say you can't do a professional workflow for a comic on an iPad, a mobile device. This is proof you can.
Who says that?
Yeah, I didn't even know people were saying that.
Who says that? Do you say that? Is that you?
No, I don't say that. I say that there was a lot of people that I remember. Maybe this was years ago, when the iPad first started coming out. But I remember,
Cary.
Well, I'm just saying that there are naysayers, and they say you got to do it on a desktop. You got to do it, on traditional 8.5 by 11 by 17. Things, and then do digital colors or whatever. I'm just saying that it's impressive when you can do this on a mobile device and get this quality.
Yeah, I will say this about everyone. That's one thing that stopped me in developing when I first got into comics, because back in the day when you wanted to get into like Marvel or DC, every editor told you, stop trying to ink, stop trying to write, stop trying to color, pick a discipline and go with it. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll be a penciler. And that's they didn't want, unless you were really good, but there was a lot of discouragement for trying to expand on your skill set, And I guess that just was the system at the time. And then, one of the things I was trying to, I guess, highlight about all of my, like, I never tried to paint anything until the last 10 years or so. And I never tried to, I only penciled. That's all I ever did. I never inked, never colored, didn't write. For 20 years of my career, and then I finally was just like, so bored with penciling, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna suck at inking for a while until I get better at it. And that was sort of my
your approach.
I don't know, I don't have any formal training in school, like Everything is just learn to pick up stuff and I make a mess. That's why I say that with my paints. So I don't really have any background in it. I just like know what I think looks good, right? And that's all I'm trying to achieve. So I always get a little defensive when people tell you can't do something. So if iPad was like inferior tools, like it's still a tool, you know what I mean? And you can still make art with it. It's like John Lennon with the tuba, you know, it's like, give me a tuba and I'll give you something with it, right? Because he's an artist. And that's all you really got to have is like your own skill set. And you can make pretty much anything out of anything, you know?
That is so true. So lessons learned. I think all the aspiring artists that are in our audience.
So basically, you got good because of stubbornness. Like, don't tell me what I cannot do.
You're not the boss.
That sounds kind of like me. Don't tell me what I can't do. I'll prove you wrong.
That's what I wanted to say too. Is that not only did Cary do this 100% on a mobile device digitally, but he with this IP that he's doing, he's writing, he's penciling, he's inking, he's coloring. I think we talked about maybe he might be doing lettering as well. So
you never know. Yeah.
So it's crazy. I think that just Cary, don't tell Cary no, and because Cary's just gonna do it. You know, it's like the honey badger. You know, don't tell Cary what he can't do. But here, let's show some of the other artwork here, and this is just amazing stuff because this is like we saw what you did traditionally, and when we talked about form and hatching and blocking and composition, and now you're doing it digitally and phenomenal. This is what you can expect when you get Folklore. Brilliant. I like your limited use of palette because even though it's not like a full-blown, like accurate, realistic color palette, it shows your mastery of color theory in terms of
where it's so wrong though. It's like I'm not a master. This is what I keep trying to say. Is like I use a limited palette because it's harder to screw up. This is why I dress in black. It's like you can't really mess that up, you know.
I think if anything is, you're saying, you're saying I look at this and it's just brilliant, and you're saying I do it because I'm going to mess it up if I add more colors to it. But
it's kind of another thing that always stuck with me with. They said like something like 90% of all oil paintings are basically tones of gray, and color is very sparsely applied. You know, like a brilliant color you hardly ever see in a painting. So mostly it's just tones of gray. So I always keep that in mind when I'm coloring. It's like it doesn't have to be, bright colors everywhere. It's like you only need a few colors. And the way I think about color is to draw the eye. That's it.
Yes.
I put the orange there. I have no idea why that orange is on the cape. It doesn't make any sense logically, but it draws the eye.
I think it helped. I think it was to help contrast the space behind
that's what I mean, but I mean, like, what is that? It's like fire or something? I don't know. It's just, if it's not there, the bottom is like unbalanced, so it just needed.
I just thought it was fantastic. I thought like maybe he's coming from the sky, and this is like a little bit of the sky that's peeking out behind his cape. But
that's not why it's there, right? Why it's there is because I needed to balance out the composition. So that's it.
There doesn't have to be a reason.
There you have it, folks. There you have it, folks.
You heard it first from Cary. There's no reason. It just looks good,
I just do it. It works.
That's that intuitive part about art, though. Like when and so like people with too many rules always, ruin things. If you have too many rules, like no, break the rules.
Yeah. Well, I'll push back a little bit. You have to know the rules before you can break the rules, and you know them already, and you can break them. And we see all these like monsters here that are in the background as well. And this is a little bit of a hint too. This is going to be our third drawing challenge, and this is King Knock. And so like this is his cape with all these stars. We'll learn a little bit more about Soul and King Knock as we draw a little later on. So if you want to do a screen capture of this for future reference, we'll show this again later. But let's just, I'm going to show these last few panels that you shared with me, and then we're gonna get to the live drawing because I know that I could just talk to you for all day, and Rick is going to like roll his eyes and say, you know what, we can't keep Cary for 5 hours. But here we have this. He got to do, Cary mentioned that he loved drawing animals when he first started illustrating. So this is just a perfect example. Now he gets to draw his main villain with animals, with horses here. So no one can tell Cary what he can't put in his own book. So here we have this. This is another example of a sequential. Rick, I'm just looking at this. Ow! I feel this. Like, it's just so
I
good.
absolutely love this, man.
Thank you.
Again, as an oil painter, you're still keeping that in mind, keeping that some of that same processes in mind when you work here, even digitally, and it's so awesome to see. And I love how much you do with so little color choice. It just shows how little you need to do in order to get people's interest, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Cary, I look at this, and this is another rule that people told me when I was, just playing around with sequentials. It's like, know when you can break the panel, like have things go out of the panel.
Who told you that?
I don't know if you told me, Rick. I think I looked at the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. I don't know, but I'm just gonna say that it was very, but you mentioned it to me, I'm sure. But I look at this piece, and just your point of view, you can look at the sequential pages, and every panel is like its own powerful art piece, and this is what I love about effective sequential storytellers. You can have great pinup artists, you can have great splash page artists, and then Cary brings it all to the table. He can do fantastic pinups, splash pages, and here we have a really great sequential, and he's showing when it's appropriate to kind of like break free of the panels. And it's so neat because you're using even black panel borders, and then you do 1, 2, 3 with all these great compositions, and then with this last panel here, you break out of the panel, but you don't do any background. It's a white background, and it has the shadow. And I just look at this whole piece, and it just fits well together. It fits so well together.
Thank you.
Before we get to, we're gonna go to Soul pretty soon and draw that, but I would like to hear your thought process. Was this accidental? Was this just one of your things where you were just building it up and it just was a happy accident, like like Bob Ross, or is it something that was so intentional that when you built it, you're like saying, yes, I want it this way? You want to talk about this?
Oh, so you mean the composition?
The panel, just the sequential storytelling, like how you did this.
Yeah, well, one of the things I wish I could point to this, but if you take your finger and put it on basically Knock, and just trace around his cape to the animals, to the open gates with the guy standing there, to Knock's face, it makes a big circle, right? And it draws the eye back into the central area. And that's kind of like present, hopefully, in all of my storytelling, where everything works together. It's not just a panel on its own; it's all part of the same composition, right? So everything should be through the eye, completely around the page.
We are having echo coming from. I think it's coming from you.
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead and keep on going, Cary. I'll
test. Yeah, I think it's gone now. Yeah.
Okay. Keep on talking, Cary. Yep.
So that's sort of every panel has to work together as part of the composition. So that's all designed, as I'm doing it. Like I'm thinking about how each panel relates to the next one, and the story has to all flow with that as well. And then whether to break a panel. So when I worked with on Conan, my editor was the Hellboy editor at the time, and so one of the things that he related from Mike Mignola is about, I used to have panels that were all over the place, breaking borders and like kind of that image style back in the day.
Yes.
And he's just like, Mike Mignola's attitude was just like, cut it out, like just make it simple, as possible. And then if you do break a panel, it should be for a reason, not just arbitrarily, So this thing, there's a storytelling element to it too, where this guy's, coming up to face this guy. So he is breaking, he's like, I don't know what the words are that I'm trying to express, but he's like taking a stance and like, you're going to notice me. And, he's issuing out a challenge right here to Knock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of all part of my process anyway when I'm thinking about how to lay this out.
You nailed it. I mean, I'm looking at this too. Like the last panel, you talked about it being circular, kind of leading to your eye around it, and it actually comes back around with that last panel because he's like being defiant, and it's such a strong panel, but it actually circles back around, and we have King Knock who's coming down, and then he's rising up at the same time, and it's very circular. That's why when you show this to me, I think to the layperson, to the person who's just looking at this, it just feels right. It looks right. And I think that if you're like a novice sequential story, reading comic books, you will probably notice when the page isn't constructed well, or if it doesn't read right. Like, but when you see something like this, it all fits together, and you just know that it feels right, and it tells the story because those little attentions to detail are all there, and it combines together to form this really good. This is good sequential storytelling, and you just add great color on top of it. It's your color choices, the blues for Knock, the warm colors for the hero, just really, really good. So with that being said, I know we need to get the drawing, and Rick is itching to like kind of take over my babbling. And start talking.
I just want to. I could listen to Cary talk all the time. So,
okay.
Because everything he says, he just spews out knowledge. Whether I knew it already or not, it's still yep. It's something to remember for sure.
It's truth. Cary spitting out the truth fire in terms of like what you want to do with art. Look at this piece. This is also like Cary just taking that whole thing about like choosing where to put detail and choosing where not to put detail. You can see that in the panel. He doesn't draw like every lace on the shoe, every grain in the leather. But you see this visual element where he's tying the hero and you see all these soldiers that are there. I could go on all day. We could talk more about these issues, but I want people to look at this. I want people to appreciate what Cary's doing with this. And we're actually going to talk a little bit more about this panel a little later on, but this is what I want everybody to look at. So that being said, let's get our art cams ready to go. I want everybody to check this out. This is the first character that we're going to do. Her name is Soul. And Cary, I know that we lost you last time, so let's get your camera ready to go. This might take a few minutes. So go ahead and launch your Firefox browser on your desktop, and just do the drill that I talked to you about, which was getting QuickTime ready to go and sharing your iPad.
Oh, he's already on it.
He's on
it.
Yeah,
I think I'm.
Oh, mute your iPad. Or you can turn off your iPad, actually. I mean, don't.
Okay, there we go. Everything seems to.
Okay, so let me remove that, and I'm gonna switch your camera. Let's get that. All right, there you go. And we can remove. Let's see. Let's remove this. And Cary, just launch QuickTime and share your Clip Studio Paint from your iPad, and we'll get that art cam ready to go.
Yep, just bear with me here.
Yep, take your time.
Yeah, you come from two places.
I
think it's your
iPad. Yeah, mute your iPad and
that
use
is
your
muted. No, that is muted. I think because you're using speakers. Perhaps. No, now it's gone. Can you hear me now?
Am I good?
You're good. You're good.
It's good now. Not sure what you did, but it worked.
All
right.
Well, which is what I have learned so far is Cary's way to do art. Not sure what I did, but it worked. Hey, that's why you said that yourself. So I guess I could.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I see what I did wrong here. Bear with me.
Yeah. Go ahead and get your stuff.
I had the weirdest joke I wanted to do because when I found out you lived in Canada, came from Canada, which is up north, I started laughing because your last name in Danish means north.
Yeah.
It's intentional, 100% intentional.
Yeah. So that's why you live in Canada.
Yeah.
He can't live in the tropics. He can't live.
He can't live in the tropics and be called North. Of course not.
Ice in the cold.
He's stuck up freezing. And you went as far down as you could as to being in Canada.
What's that?
And you went as far down north as you could possible.
Exactly. Yeah, right on the border, trying to get in to the warmth. So now I've got the QuickTime player up.
Yes. Now under QuickTime, you want to go to that little arrow, and you want it to point.
Right.
Point to your
Sorry,
to your
folks.
iPad.
My computer is ancient, and that's why we're having these issues. Share screen.
So how is everybody in the chat doing? Hope everybody is good.
Yeah, go ahead and go through the chat, Rick, and see if I might have missed some pop-ups that you had. Let's
well, you missed so much, so no. We got Roy Mercado here that I talked about the layout of the first panel.
Yes.
Said it reminds him of Travis Charest's Meta Baron.
Yep, I agree with
another guy that's a huge influence on I think everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Travis Charest is a great example of an artist that found. He's like J. Scott Campbell. They basically were they were students of Jim Lee, and they found their own voice. They found their own style. And Travis Charest, oh my gosh, the guy doesn't even have to ink. His mechanical pencils are so crazy that it just translates. Okay, so Cary.
Sorry, I went down to Wildstorm when I first got into comics, and I got a little tour of the studio, and I saw Travis' actual pencils, and it was just mind blowing. How detailed they were.
Oh yeah, totally envious of you in terms of being able to see Wildstorm before they got acquired by DC, and seeing how that went. But so basically, go ahead and go to QuickTime, and
can you not see my screen?
We see you.
We see you. You don't need to adjust your camera. Go ahead and make your camera focused on.
Oh, I know. I just can't see the over top of my computer. I'll fix it in a minute.
Oh, there it is. Yes. Yep, there you are.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
You're good now.
Good.
Everything is good. John Arzinger pops in and says hi. Hello, John. Good seeing you.
I like the echo.
And Maverick wants to is getting ready to work alongside, drawing some. What was her name? Sorry, Soul. Like the soul.
Sure.
Okay.
Her actual name is Solse. Wait, I did.
Did you say don't say?
It's Solse, which is
Russian
word for sun.
Okay. All right.
I should know that because I live so close to Russia, Rick.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to put the.
Can you guys see my pencil up there? You can see me making marks. I can't see it.
No, are you making marks? I can't see you make marks. I can't see you do anything on the. Try.
Go ahead and scribble. Go ahead and scribble something.
No, I see no scribbling.
Oh, that's a problem. Let me see.
Did you just take a still picture?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. No, it looks like you're doing a video right now. You're showing us a recording of a video.
No, that's the way it should be, but you should be able to draw. Go ahead and so there's nothing like you're drawing something, but nothing is showing up on.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of, all right.
Why? What do we do?
Let's see. So you see something on your iPad, but we're not seeing something on the screen, right? Is that what you're saying?
It seems like there's like a really pixelated piece that just frozen.
Yeah, I think there's a screen refresh rate problem. Let's go to QuickTime, Cary, and go ahead and quit QuickTime and then relaunch it again and then reconnect to your iPad. I know that's asking a lot, but if you could, that might be, maybe it's just not refreshing correctly. So
yeah, so one of my things is I'm going to buy a new computer soon.
No, why?
Why,
Cary?
Yeah, we'll get through this. So just go ahead and quit QuickTime and then
I can't. Yeah, I'm getting the spinning wheel.
Oh no! Shoot.
Okay, good.
Oh no. Yeah, it seems like it's not. It seems like it crashed.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think. Let's work through this. Do you think you need to? You know, your computer seems to be okay because we can see your video. Wait for QuickTime to go ahead and launch QuickTime again. Let's see what happens.
So, once again, this is Comicscast with our usual technical difficulties. Wishing everybody in the chat room a good Halloween.
I think
a happy show anniversary for the very special co-host.
Yeah.
I think Arelis was correct in saying that our show is haunted today for Halloween, and that's why we're getting a little bit of these little gremlins that are happening.
I don't think it's more our show is more haunted than it usually is, though. We've had these issues before, and it doesn't matter. We're still having fun.
Yep.
Still talking. So, people, if you got any questions for Cary for me to ask him while they're drawing, let me know in the comments. And I'll try to ignore them as best I can. No, I will ask them, of course.
I think we're still having some refresh rates issues because I think we're just seeing like a black screen where you're sharing, and for some reason, it's not refreshing.
Yep.
Roy writes, the show has been haunted for a year now. What a coincidence! I don't know.
Okay. It's starting to come up. Yeah, it's just
There's
lagging.
a lag, yeah.
Shoot. Go ahead and draw again, and let's see. This is the weird thing: is that there we can see your stroke. I just saw it. Yes.
The weird two screens going on though.
Yeah,
yes.
we see the two screen thingy.
Okay,
right.
hit fill screen. Hit that green button. Okay, yeah, it's getting a little better. And
we're free to touch anything is overloading. The fans just going.
Yeah, we don't want to destroy Cary's computer. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's getting a little better. Yeah, it's a little bit artifacted, but go ahead and draw another stroke. Let's see if we can see your stroke. Oh no, we can't see.
Oh, we can. Yeah, it's just a little behind. It's you just wrote high.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yep. Okay, good.
We're good.
Good.
We're good. Okay.
Don't touch anything else, Cary.
Yeah, it's like you got it working. Okay. Does your monitor 2, Cary? Can you on monitor 2? You can see the three of us, right?
Yeah, everything's fine. As long as I can.
Okay. Good.
Keep doing this. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna draw. We're gonna draw Soul
quickly.
Yeah, we're gonna draw Soul. We're gonna have 15 minutes. Rick is gonna take over interviewing duties, and let's get going. Rick, you be the timekeeper. It's all in your hands now.
Yeah. So let's 15 minutes for this first one. That should suffice. I hope.
To draw Soul.
Yeah.
Yep. Draw Soul, and here we go.
So the first question is from Maverick Rionico, one of our most loyal guests as well. He asked, who's your favorite anti-hero and why?
My favorite what, sorry?
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero. Oh, yeah. I think Wolverine comes to mind. Is he an anti-hero?
Yeah, I would say so in some ways, even though he's
he kills.
I would say Conan is. Yeah, I'd say that he kind of is.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the characters that always resonates with me. So like my first comic it wasn't a Wolverine, but it was an X-Men, and yes, when he was fighting like Sabretooth or something, and it's like, oh man, this character is amazing. So I was hooked ever since.
And he's Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
And he's Canadian.
So, how old were you when you won that Eisner Award?
How old? Oh, I don't know. Maybe 30-something, 32 or 3 or something.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, you must after we talked a little about it, you must have been one of the youngest Eisner Award winners ever.
I don't know, man. It was in 2003. I don't even know. I can't remember. But yeah, I don't know if there's anyone younger that's won. I don't know. I don't really keep up with
No,
who's been winning.
I get it. It's just every time I hear about Eisner, it's like it's the artist Oscars after all, so to speak.
Right.
The big of the big, and I can't just. I'm still laughing at the fact that your first real step into the Conan universe, and you say, and you get here's an award for a good job. Now continue. No pressure.
I grew up in like the West, in the prairies in Canada, and there's really nobody. This is like pre-internet, and there's nobody doing comics that I knew of in the town where I was from, and so I did most of my career not having any idea about. I didn't know about the Eisners, didn't know anything. So when they gave it to me, I was kind of like, "Oh, cool, thanks." I had no idea how themed it was.
How prestigious it was?
Yeah, I had no idea.
And that's not just the Canadian humility that says that. It's just how it was. So you slowly found out, or did it just hit you once when you were at a con or something that everybody were like, "Wow, this is kind of..."
Yeah, exactly. It was like when people were still congratulating me, like, a year later. I'm like, oh, okay, this is important.
I mean, I would say now that I know you a little bit, I'm not surprised that this is the way you handled that award. How you got it, like,
that's right.
Yeah, slowly, like, it's okay, it's good, it's nice. So you work both for yourself now and also for the quote unquote big ones. Could you talk about the pros and cons of working freelance compared to working under a company and vice versa?
Yeah. Well, companies are great. They gave me a career, they gave me a fan base, and worked with a lot of good people and a lot of amazing, like, talented people. So a lot of things that like maybe a writing instinct that I might have now, that I also got to work with, like, some fantastic writers. So that I have a more of an innate sense on how to write than maybe I would have if I was just doing it on my own. Like, I don't think there's any value I can place on my time drawing comics for the mainstream. But I've been there and I've done that, and the one thing I've never done is my own creations and my own stories, and had my own, like, singular vision where I didn't have to accommodate someone else or someone else's point of view or their skills or anything. It's completely my own, for better, for worse, So yeah, I think drawing for the mainstream is easier in a lot of ways, in just a business sense. Even, like, as a penciler, it's like I hand in my pencils and then I'm done. I don't have to think about that book ever again. And with this, like, okay, I finished some pencils, now I gotta color it, and then I gotta, like, think about, I'm gonna print this thing, and then I gotta think about lettering and all this stuff, like all this stuff I've never considered before. So there's a lot of other work that I've never done before in.
So why?
Which is challenging, and it's also overwhelming.
I'm sorry, you froze a little there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
There was a big lag, but I think we got the gist of it and got all of it. Really, it's really good to know. So you were completely new at this when you jumped in.
Yeah, it was just me and a voice on the other end of the phone telling me what to do, and that's the only, like, I had no social network peer network in comics at all. Didn't know anybody doing it.
What made you think that way then? Was seeing you didn't have that big of a network. you've seen it rise during the what's it called, epidemic, and then decided to try it yourself, or?
Oh, you mean for why I went into creator owned?
Yeah.
Something I've been, wanting to do for years and talking about, but you keep taking jobs and that sucks up all your time. So I found I just kept talking about it and never actually do anything about it. So I actually had to stop taking on jobs and just focus on this for a while. And the pandemic helped a little bit, I guess, but mostly it was just, time to do it. Either do it or stop talking about it.
Yeah, I get that. Makes sense. Were you about to ask something, Jerry, before we interrupted, or?
Oh yeah, I just was going to ask him, your subject matter. I know you were doing fantasy and having a female heroine. Were these characters maybe that you came up with back in high school, and then you decided, okay, I'm gonna realize it now. I'm gonna actually do it, or was this something that after doing all these other books for other people that, hey, I'm gonna do a fantasy thing because I did Conan before. What were your thoughts in terms of the subject matter to do folklore?
I'm kind of drawn to the same. I really like sort of exploring myths and that whole world of religion and those questions like are we alone, or is there some all powerful force? So that's sort of a theme that sort of I keep for some reason it resonates with me, and that's kind of what I want to explore. So yeah, I found that I had another thing going with an image book where I was exploring the same thing, but it's all set in the future. So looking at it from that angle, but still on myths and gods and all this kind of stuff. The character itself was sort of one out of a girl that I knew who was Russian. She had this. She was a really great person in that she was very compassionate and take care of animals and just always trying to help people and going out of her way to the point where she's putting herself in debt to take care of cats or something. So just this really compassionate, wonderful person. But unfortunately, she had this disabilitating condition, I guess. Am I freezing?
No.
No. There was a slight echo, but that was it.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, she and what it was something to do with one of her organs wasn't producing, secreting some kind of enzyme or whatever. I don't know. And the result was that she was just in chronic debilitating pain all the time, and she had kind of learned to live with it, and she was learned to walk again. It was so bad that she had to go in a wheelchair. So I thought, what a amazing character. Just my comic book brain kicked in. And I was thinking a perfect Stan Lee character is an ironic character, is just a healer basically, but every time she can't heal herself, which is just sad and ironic because Rogue, she wants love but she can't touch people, that kind of thing. That's sort of where the character came from. So I made her into this goddess, and every time she uses her powers, it rips her to pieces. So she's this goddess stuck in a human form, and the one thing that will help her fight all these enemies is her powers, but it's also the one thing that's slowly killing her. So she has to find a way to to beat these guys without destroying herself in the process, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's intriguing. Yeah. It's a great concept.
Yeah, that's kind of where this whole folklore thing came from, and then I just sort of built the rest of the world around that, and here we are.
I absolutely love how the idea, once that this big idea came from the simple thing of knowing another person. Oh, that isn't really a simple thing, but you understand. Hopefully, understand what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can go, and you can take that and build a complete world out of it. And as you mentioned, it's something Stan Lee did. A multitude of a plethora of times, to use Gerald's word. You got 5 more minutes
Is that it? Oh my god. Who's winning?
Yeah, I see you. Oh, it's a competition?
It's not a competition.
Gerald doesn't win.
Yeah, I always don't win. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. I guess you can't. Well, like I said, we just want to give our audience a flavor for your style. I mean, we've already seen your artwork and how vibrant it is, and I think that for this particular piece, we just really want people to see you do your that messy thing that you sort of alluded to and then how you shape it. So you can actually go back and give us that final piece a little later on, but take it as far as you want in the time that
we don't expect people to make a finished piece in 15 minutes. That's just some people.
I should get you guys to do this show with me as I work, and I'll probably get a lot more done.
I was also about to say that every time you're talking and answering my question, you seem to stop drawing. So I think talking and drawing might also be a disadvantage that you're not used to either.
Oh yeah, I'm used to sitting in absolute silence and not talking for hours on end. So
yeah, that's why you moved to Canada after all. Absolute silence. Sorry, bad joke.
No.
No, okay, good. But I do like your approach, how simple you make the build up, and I just feel like when I see you work, I realize how much I've myself gone away from my oil painting roots after in a lot of ways after I went digital, and I still use a program sometimes called Rebel 4 I was actually wanted to mention to you, because they make like their oil brushes and watercolor brushes and acrylic brushes, and it makes it look so realistic, and the blendings and all that's really hardcore stuff, really great stuff. So
what is it called,
sorry? Rebel 4.
Oh, never heard of it. Cool.
I will get Gerald to write out the name for you afterwards or something. Definitely worth taking a look into. If you get you get all the work of an oil paint almost as best as you can with this, without getting sticky fingers and colors all around the room.
Yeah, right.
But your approach is just wanted me to start over with rethinking my approach again with the building up, because
Did you like go to school for painting or what?
No, I'm self-taught myself.
What do you
mostly in my years it's been portraits, because here in Denmark we don't have a big comic. We didn't have a big comic community before all the movies and such started. So,
right, okay.
But it had to be portraits of families and landscapes and stuff like that. You know, the old school oil paintery stuff.
Right, sort of realist painting.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a skill I don't have.
But that just means that Rick is going to bring comic illustration to Denmark, because Denmark doesn't have it.
we have it, but not like in a big sense. We have it now due to all the movies and all that. It's finally become popular, and I'm like, why now?
Yeah, right.
Why now? Now I can get it on the internet. Why get it? I've been struggling for so many years to get it here in Denmark, and now when I can get it anywhere, you come toss it at me.
How much time do we got, Rick?
Cary, do you need 5 more minutes?
I mean, if you're handing 5 minutes out, I'll take it.
You're the guest, so of course 5 more minutes for Cary, 2 more minutes for Diablo.
That's right. So I couldn't help but when I looked at the Kickstarter description, you said her powers could either save humanity or destroy it. I know that's probably going to go down spoiler territory, and you said that but is there anything that you can maybe, without giving a spoiler, talk a little bit more about? Or
well, it's sort of what I mentioned before with her, like her own battles with it. Like she's a sun goddess, and she's got no, she's orphaned and no real idea what she is, or no one to tell her what she is or how to use these powers or anything. So she's sort of dangerous, right? Like she doesn't know every time. Well, not every time, but like if she uses her powers, is she going to cause more damage or not? And that has consequences for like the world at large too. Like if she gets too out of control, she might destroy it. If she doesn't do enough, it's like she's in a real tough spot. She's got to walk that fine line of having all this power, not being able to use it, but having to use it. So she has to figure out how much she can use before she's like doing more harm than good. If that makes any sense.
It makes great sense. I like the drama about that. It's like she wants to do good, but at what cost? Will it kill her?
Well, yeah, it's sort of something that she's figuring out as she goes along. Where like because most people was like, all right, well, I just won't use it. It causes me pain and whatever. But she's not in that position because she's being hunted as well by this King Nock and other forces, and like so she doesn't have the option even to not participate. So she's forced to play the game, and and figure it out as she goes. So yeah, it's just like she's in a no-win situation. So she's got to figure out how to get through this all.
I absolutely love that. Again, when it comes to you, and this word is used in the most respectful manner. The process seems simple when you break it down, but then when you zoom out and look at it as an overall thing, like with your art, it just becomes masterpieces. And I do say masterpieces because you got no idea how much I've been jumping around and fanboying as soon as I was told that you were going to be because you are in my top 5 artists without.
Wow, thank you.
Without even exaggerating, it's my top 3 is actually Frank Frazetta. What is his?
Gerald?
No.
Just kidding.
Is it? Is that Ribik? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
And then you actually.
Wow, thank you.
You is at Ribik and Frank Frazetta. You can see there's a. I have a specific style that I'm a real fan of because all 3 of you have that kind of same style where you have that focus like in one place and then aren't afraid of making it simpler out to let it flow more and more blurry, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. I always find that I think it resonated with Gerald too earlier when I was listing off my influences, and he was like, "Yep, everyone." It's like we're in that same grouping of artistic heroes and influences.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you worked with Marvel, and your first one was Daredevil. No, that was Daredevil first, right? Or did you do? Yeah,
Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil was my first series that I'd ever gotten, which. Yeah, I don't know if if I was ready, but I did it. Yeah, and I did some like 10-page stories for DC and Marvel, like Shang-Chi, or Child. Yeah. One of my first like a little 8-page stories in Marvel Comics Presents or something like that. And then they gave me Daredevil right after that. I'm like, oh my god, all right. So I was doing Daredevil, and then. I jumped to Mutant X, I believe, afterwards, and I actually did a Micronauts series that never got off the ground, but I did like 3 or 4 issues of that, and then they had to cancel licensing problems. So
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, some guy, a fan, actually went and brought up all the pages and had it colored, and I wish I knew what the website was. But he's got a website, you can actually read it and see it. He's got the story and everything. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Shang-Chi movie? knowing that you did Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, shoot. Check it out. I was actually really
I'm waiting until it comes on Disney Plus as well, because cinemas and people. I want to watch my movie in peace. Thank you very much. I don't need people around eating popcorn in my ear while I try to watch a movie.
I saw your post, Rick. You were disappointed about My Little Pony, right? About the character reveal for My Little Pony.
Oh no, that's just a joke. That
I know. I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah.
I was fun reading it, and I was like, "What movie is he talking about?" And then you ended it with My Little Pony, and I was laughing, literally laughing out loud.
It's because I find it funny that people go so intense with no spoilers that I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a silly post on Facebook that says that complains about a single person spoiling this movie for me without telling them what it was for movie, and in the end I'm like, damn you for spoiling My Little Pony for me. I lost a lot of friends on my friend list that day because they felt attacked, and I felt happy because it was the people I attacked.
They were all bronies, right? Okay, all right. Is time up? I guess.
Yeah, actually it is.
Okay.
I knew Gerald started this just to buy more time. So, but yeah, time is up, Cary.
Okay, time's up.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Snap! Look at what Cary did. Oh shoot!
How do I? This way?
Oh, this is like a new view. I've never seen this view before.
I've never seen this view as well. I don't know what I clicked.
There we go. Cary, can you zoom in? Yeah. This
is good.
Okay, I'm gonna say, Cary, I love everything you do is phenomenal, but I know that it is your style, but I see a little bit of influence. Are you familiar with the artist Otto Schmidt? Do you know who he is? Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I've seen him. I'm following on Instagram, and everything I see his art is great, but I'm not terribly familiar with his work.
Yeah, well, it's not. It just reminds me of it, but again, it's uniquely Cary. This is just for 15 minutes seeing this. Again, it's that whole thing that we talked about earlier about the implied narrative. It's like, what is she? She looks like she's looking off into the distance and like contemplating something. Like, should I intervene? Should I like, play it safe? And and she's sexy to do while she's doing it. So
I mean,
I think these are poses too from like we were talking about Frazetta. He was great at those poses. Just having some girl standing there looking off, to the distance. So a lot of those guys, like I was a big fan of a lot of that. Those guys in the 60s and 70s. Their art was just so amazing. They were all like skilled draftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a major influence. So while I was reading like Jim Lee and X-Men, I was also reading, these old comics with Frazetta and Al and Torres and Jose. What's his name that did the stuff?
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Jose Gonzalez.
Yes. Really good stuff. And what I loved about your illustration here also is that you, with just simple gestures and opacity shifts, you make it even look like her dress is translucent. Just really, really neat stuff that you did here.
I love how you're telling a story with your, and that's what people teachers always tell, is that if your character doesn't tell a story within the first few 5 minutes of you starting, she won't be telling that story even after 2 hours into the piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you're showing that greatly here, absolutely. So let's jump over to our fan base on the art show, where some people have done fan art while we've been speaking here as well. And first and foremost, we got Sarah Simba here. She's
right on.
I will finish it later. For whatever reason, my anatomy skills is refusing to work with me now. We all have those times, right? So it happens. And
is getting this is one thing that you don't get working from Marvel or DC is like seeing other people draw your character is just mind blowing. It's like must be like how a band feels when someone covers your song. You know, it's like wow.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest reasons why I like doing this show, because we do that, our interaction with the fans and the guests coming in and seeing the fans do the fan art like up close and personal in the moment as it is done, so to speak. I love the reactions from the guests. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great piece. I love it.
Great piece, Sarah, and I really hope you see you finish it for sure.
Great job.
We got more here. We got Victor Rufino.
Woo! Look at that.
He also going with the simple approach is enough to tell a story. You see his.
That's Snow too. I love that. It's like another part of the theme. Like she lives in this like world that's darkness has taken over, and it's in eternal kind of dusk, and it's in Russia, so it's like ice and snow. So it's like contrasting sun goddess to that world, which is.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you put the snow.
I love the whole emotion here as well. He managed to put in these 15 minutes.
Great job, Victor. Great job.
I will up. Oh, Maverick seems to also have. Let me just update here. Yeah, we got Maverick Rionico.
Oh my gosh.
That's got some intensity. I love it.
Yeah, he's a fast one.
Yeah.
And Maverick always likes to do texture.
Love those glowing like eyes, and the discs are glowing. It's like nailed it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very cool.
Good work.
Good
work. Good work, all of you. And I think was that we got Roy Mercado as well.
Heck, nice.
Tried my best in 15.
That looks great. So
nice
clean.
Job, Roy.
Yeah.
Roy Mercado actually also one that in some ways my style reminds me of yours, because he also goes with simple and uses contrast a lot in his style.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fantastic. Really clean and solid. Yeah, looks great.
Roy Mercado feels attacked because Maverick is too fast. David Whalen is popping in. Hello, David. Good to see you.
What's up, David? I'm so happy that we got some great audience participation here.
I'm just doing another update to see if more pop by.
Else?
Not for this one. It seems if anybody is still working on it, I will of course show it later.
Okay, awesome.
As I said that the late one, as it's usually Marius coming in late, but I guess
okay.
Let's just do it. And this is actually Maverick's brother, so that's where the speed is. So the speed is there in the two of them, Maverick and Marius.
Yeah, he's putting me to shame. Stop that. Looks
it's
great.
Really great stuff.
Love the contrasting colors too. It look really nice.
Great stuff from all of you guys. Looking forward to see Sarah working more on hers as well, because she said something about the anatomy struggling with her, but she usually really good also. And Roy Mercado continues being angry because he apparently finds the Rionicos being too fast.
I think we're all. I wanted to tell you, Cary, Marius is also like you. When he was on the show, he was a guest as well, and he said he likes to draw things too that have like an implied narrative. He wants to follow that same mantra that you have, that if you're going to draw something, have it tell a story, just not some generic pose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's sort of baked into comic book artists' brains too. You know, like just the virtue of looking at comics for so long, and that's your job, is to tell a story, right? It's really funny. I've got a few painter friends that are like realist painter types, and they kind of have a bit of trouble with that.
I have trouble with that still. I'm still working on getting that in. Yeah,
well, I imagine. Well, from what they've told me, is like they're just so used to having a subject, to copy from. That's
yeah. I will admit, when I started going digital, the best way I could do things for stuff was finding 3D sculpts, or maybe making like really quick photo bash pictures to make reference that way. I still do that sometimes when I have to work quick, because that's, as you said, that's how we learned. We learned from seeing, from watching.
Absolutely.
So I'm still struggling with a little bit. I'm getting better at it, but I'm still using that technique, and the technique works. So why completely go against it, right?
I've learned so much from studying like realist painting techniques and stuff.
Yeah,
it's one of the things that I put my art for my own personal like next level. You know, like help me see past just the comic book.
It's kind of funny to think of that we are going opposite direction in our goals a little bit. You're starting comic, and you're searching for more realism, and I'm starting there and going more comic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Someday I might be on Cary Nord's level. Maybe not, but here's hoping. But definitely last and least,
that's cool.
Daryl Motors piece.
Yeah, so I wanted to. I kind of try to go for a more action pose. I don't know what she's gonna do, because I'm anxiously awaiting for the comic. So I want to see her like do some crazy powers. And I did her in this crouching pose because I almost, you mentioned she's a goddess, and I almost think of her like with a name like Soul. I was thinking, it has dual meaning: soul like sun, and soul like your inner soul. And I was thinking, well, if she's like an elemental, maybe she's like tapping into the soul of the planet, and maybe her powers. I don't know if that's what's going to be, but I kind of wanted to make it look like she's crouching and kind of drawing elemental powers from Earth or the environment. But again, I want to see the comic. I just can't wait. When it's ready to go, I'm going to eat that all up and just take it all in. But just trying to do something a little bit dramatic here. So
I am taking the messing with Jarrus as always, but I always love his pieces. His dynamic poses is always top notch. Now if he just knew how to get good at everything else, he would actually maybe be an artist someday.
Hey, I have hope, because I just need to clean up my work, because now I'm hearing from Cary that he's a messy style at first, and then he cleans it up. I just need to learn how to clean it up. So but thank you, Victor. You are inspiring, Cary. So I just love your character, and I can't wait to get the book in hand. So let's keep the show moving along. Let's get to Rick's favorite part of the show, which is called the Rick Challenge. It's the co-host challenge. And I kind of gave him a little bit of a framework based on what I talked to Cary about.
This is basic. This is basic Geralt's challenge to this time.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna let because I filled in Rick in terms of like some of our guests' interests and their hobbies and things outside of art. So anyway, it's all up to Rick. Rick can throw my idea.
You mentioned two things for Geralt that he remembered really specifically that you were a big fan of. Do you remember, Cary, what those two things were?
That he's a big fan of?
No, that you were.
Yeah, it was cats and metal.
Yeah. And we are speaking metal bands, not the actual element.
Heavy metal.
So my first idea seeing it was Halloween was like to take a bunch of slasher horror characters and then put them in a medieval environment, how they would look if they ended up there.
Okay,
that was my first idea. But then Geralt told me about your big two likes, and I had to take them in. So therefore, welcome to Geralt's wheel of the wheel of Geralt's misfortune. As you see here, the first wheel here, I got a lot of cat races.
Oh my god! I don't even know what all these cats look like.
Yeah, I don't either. Russian blue, awesome.
Russian blue. Oh my god! So that's
the blue-gray kind of cat, Geralt.
Okay.
You're allowed to search for reference if needed be, but
okay.
And then on the other one, I have a lot of 80s metal bands.
Sick.
You got Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas
Oh my God.
Priest, Motorhead, Black Sabbath, Twisted
I'm a
Sister,
little afraid of how this is.
Anthrax, Pantera, AC/DC, Kiss, and Sepultura.
You know what's missing? Guns N' Roses. Where's Guns N' Roses?
No, I thought because I already had Twisted Sister and AC/DC. Their look is kind of close to each other, so I had to find bands that had their own kind of looks to like proper.
Okay, all right. Let's
let me remind everybody that this was Gerald's idea. So if this is a tough challenge, blame Gerald.
Well, I was gonna say we could just do a heavy metal hairband look. It doesn't have to be specific Metallica, but you know what? Cary is a aficionado of 80s heavy metal, so this is going to be a walk in the park for him. To do
Roy is like, oh no, we're building another Frankenstein monster. We sure are. So my idea is, I'm sure Cary already got the idea of what is happening here. I'm going to roll the wheel. I'm going to roll the wheel of race and band, and you'll have to make like a hybrid version of if that cat were in that band.
Oh my God.
Okay. Does that make sense? Is that too big of a challenge?
I guess we'll find out.
Go. We'll have some fun with it.
Let's go ahead. You decide who goes first, Cary. You or Gerald?
Oh, Gerald.
Okay. Let's go with the band first.
Cary, just to give you a little preface for this whole thing, Rick will keep on spinning it until it finds the most difficult thing in his mind for me to do. So,
and you got the band Anthrax.
Anthrax. I don't even know what their look is. Okay, go ahead. Anthrax, and what character am I?
What cat?
What cat? Yep.
I think everything here is hard, Gerald. So I'm not gonna. Ooh, you're lucky. You got the easy one.
Oh my gosh!
You've drawn Siamese before on the show.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That's like the most identifiable cat. It's otherwise they're just all.
Normally, Cary. Normally, I remove I remove them as choices on the wheel when they got chosen. But this time, I will keep the Siamese. So there's a chance that you might land on it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so let's see here. Your band, Cary, will be.
It'd be the one band I don't know. Or the one band I hate.
No, you hate this band? You hate this band? Okay, let's
I will happily draw them.
Let's roll it.
No, that's good. I was gonna use that hate and channel it.
Okay, so you don't want to make kiss cats?
Kiss cats.
Oh, kiss cats are fun.
Okay, you have a choice, either AC/DC cats or kiss cats. I think he froze for a second. Let's see if it works out. Oh, it works out. Okay, unfroze.
Okay.
Okay, so for people keep asking me to roll for them at home as well, for the viewers at home.
Okay.
So let's quickly do that. You guys. Oh, I forgot the cat, Cary. I forgot the cat.
What are we gonna do?
Let's see here. Let's roll.
Oh, he came so close to Russian blue. That would have been fun.
The Bengal.
Oh, I know a Bengal. Those like big ones.
Yeah, the big ones are little leopard cheetah kind of. Bengal tiger kind of stuff.
All right.
Good ones. Okay, us at home. This is your turn. You get the Savannah cat.
Savannah
cat. And the Pantera band.
That's a interesting mix.
All right then. And seeing this is a hard challenge, I'll give you all 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's.
You look. Cary, let me remind you. this was Gerald's idea.
I didn't go this specific, Cary. I just sort of said, "Hey, hair metal
This
bands."
is exactly what you said,
Right?
No, I did not say that.
I decided to call this challenge for Metallicats.
Metallicats. That would have been fun
That's
too.
a good one. I like it. All right.
Okay,
Are we going?
Yeah.
Clock
The
is
time
ticking.
starts. Clock's ticking. Starting now. 20 minutes.
Okay.
Does anyone have cats?
I do not. No, I must admit, now that Diablo have been disliked so much for his choice of for challenge, I must be the one that gets disliked for saying I really do not like cats, and I do have a perfectly good reason for it.
You do? Okay.
It's not just because I like dogs better, so I have to dislike cats. It's nothing silly like that. No, I lived with a girlfriend many years ago, and she had like in Norway we have they have a lot of wild cats living in the wild that's former house cats, but for some reason got feral in some way, and she decided to bring them inside and care for them.
Uh-oh.
And she had 3 huge, like not huge as in big muscular, but fat male cats, and they were not trained in any shape or form. And I was losing my mind over them, and we lived together for over 2 years, and then when we split up, she asked me to, because we moved to Denmark, she asked me to take care of them for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I can see where this is going.
No, and the worst story about it all was at one point I was sat and watching TV while I ate a sandwich, right? Like a really good sandwich with some ham and some cheese and some lettuce and all that good stuff. One of the cats jumps on the table on the other side and started eating the sandwich from the other side of where I was eating it. I just looked at it and I was, yeah.
That was it.
That was the last drop. So I hope you forgive me for saying I dislike cats, but that is my story as to why I dislike cats.
All right.
He didn't tell the whole story. He probably that cat ended up in a box somewhere.
No. It may have regretted its decision, but I'm not mean.
You're not mean. Okay. All right.
To cats.
But on my end, I actually I do like cats. My little sister used to live with me, and when she did, as a gift to her, we adopted a brother and sister cat, and cats, and cats definitely have their. I mean, they have their place, like dogs do, and I think a lot of people that don't like cats, I'll definitely say that they're not loyal like dogs. They're not as affectionate as, I think. But, I'll push back a little bit. I think cats can be. It's just that they do definitely get a raw deal sometimes in terms of the way that they behave sometimes. Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I don't like anyone else's cat.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That makes a difference. That makes a difference.
But
it's like kids. I like... other people. Oh yeah, I don't like other people's kids.
That's it. It's kind of like me as well. I don't like other people. I like myself, but I like myself.
Yeah. So we're really just a bunch of jerks here. That's all.
Everybody, no. Kidding. So both of you like cats. Do you agree with me on that? Cats can be trained to a certain degree.
What do you mean trained? Like trained to use the toilet?
Also know not to jump and eat your food while you have it in your hand and stuff like that. Again, I changed the S word. I'm so proud of you today.
Good job. I think so. I think they have their own demeanor,
Yeah, you just gotta accept the cat.
Yeah.
I like them because they're just like little monsters. So it's like living with, you know. I don't know.
I have a daughter to be my little monster. That's enough.
You have a what?
I have a daughter that is my little monster.
Oh yeah,
that's
there you
enough.
go.
That's enough monsters for me.
Absolutely.
And what favorite metal band of the 80s? Did it make the list I made?
Mine?
Yeah.
What was my favorite? Yeah, I think Metallica was my favorite growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Not an AC/DC guy then. Is that what you said?
No, sorry.
Nope.
A lot of people hate me for that, but I can't stand them.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you.
Thank you. You're like the only person I've ever met. That's
oh, how nice! We should hang out. Talk about our dislike.
Your mutual hatred.
Yeah, for AC/DC while we listen to Metallica. What about Kiss?
I like them more than AC/DC, but you know, they're fun. I don't know. I don't have a problem with them.
Mm-hmm. I'm not so much a fan of the music. I mean, the music's good, but I was more a fan of the characters and their actings on stage and the music videos.
Yeah, they sort of set a standard there. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like the high mark for metal, I guess.
Roy Mercado is saying he liked Justin Bieber, so he's asking to be muted.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber is not 80s metal. Roy, tisk. How about Pantera? Was that a bit too? I'm surprised. Yeah. I mean, not many people.
Do you play music? Are you a guitar player or anything?
I played drums a little. I played drums a little bit when I was younger.
You play kazoo. You play kazoo.
I played a kazoo as well. I played a kazoo very, very well, I might add.
That works.
But I played. I was at on a 1-year school thing. I don't know what is it called in English. Like after 10th grade, you could do some traveling and go to special schools for a little bit. And this was a music and drama, and I picked up drumming because apparently that I found out that was a good way to get off some aggression.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's why I'm so calm and humble and nice now, because I was drumming back then.
That's why you don't swear.
Yeah, that's why I never swear. I'm calm and happy all this freaking time.
He likes to come on the show and take out his aggression on me. That's what it is.
Dude. Yeah. He's my new drum. He's my new drum set, so to speak. No, I think I never mentioned I played the drums a little bit before, right? So
I was just wondering if that's why you were into metal.
No, my father raised.
Oh, really?
Me. I was raised in metal.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's only gotten worse as I grew
up. Raised in metal.
Well, now it's just even heavier and heavier, really.
Yeah, that you listen to now.
I listen to it still have to have some melody and some good melody, but yeah, it's up there like. Fit for a King I listen to right now a lot. Burial for a Friend and stuff like that. Slipknot. I think that's the most famous band that I can use as an example.
I used to be in a progressive metal band.
Oh!
Nice. Play like guitar.
You play guitar?
Yeah, I was telling Rick I wasn't sure if you were a musician as well, but now you answer the question. You are a musician. You are a magician when it comes to like artwork, you know. But you're a musician.
Nice save, Gerald.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. was never going to be a career for me, put it that way. But it was fun. I love metal.
I think you made the right choice. I think that the Eisner Award speaks for itself right there.
Who knows? Maybe you could have gotten a music award as well.
Oh, you could have got a.
You could have. You know what? That's good. You can still do it, Cary. You can get all the awards.
Yes, exactly.
Time.
You go and do what you start a new TV show. You do the pilot, and you get the award from that, and then you go make a movie, and you go get the award from that. I mean, yeah, that's how it works for you, after all.
All right, yeah, I guess.
The first thing you do, you get awards.
Yeah, that's right. Because you just jump right in and you do it, and then you win awards. So I think Rick might be onto something there.
All right, I'm in.
That's easy work.
So I take it you have a cat. So what kind of cat do you have, Cary?
Oh, she died just this summer, so I don't have one anymore. But I miss it.
Oh.
It was I don't even know what breed it was. Just sort of a pound cat that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And
so just
little white cat, yeah.
It's just like a normal house cat breed.
Yeah, nothing. I don't know honestly anything about cat breeds, so can't really comment on it.
Well, that just makes me even happier. That makes me even happier that I chose this challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
What made it even worse was when I told you about the challenge I had planned. You said, "Oh, that's a good idea," and then I decided to scrap that and go with Daryl's idea.
He's just blaming me. He's just blaming me. That's all it is.
But yeah,
What was your original idea again?
My original idea was like taking slasher horror characters like Jason, Freddy, and put them in like how they would look in a medieval kind of feel, fantasy kind of feel. I could see you do some awesome stuff with like Freddy Krueger, Krueger like.
I have to say though, this is the first time I've ever done something like this. It was kind of neat.
Oh, that's awesome. That is basically what I try to do with my challenges, so it works. Good work, yeah.
Have I even drawn a cat before? I can't even say. You've never drawn a cat before.
You've never drawn a cat? Wait, Conan has cats.
Sure.
Surely Conan has cats.
I don't think he did.
You're thinking of He-Man.
That was lions. Sorry, that was
lions. You're thinking He-Man and Battle Cat. That's what you're thinking about.
I was thinking of lions, especially in King Conan. He had a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've drawn a few lions, yeah.
Yeah, and cats are basically just small lions.
That's why I like them.
If you ask the big cat lovers, they say they're just like lions. My little lion. No, that's a cat. that won't eat you in one gulp. A lion would.
I think I got my love of cats because I grew up with dogs, but Frazetta even influenced how I liked animals. He was a big cat fan.
See,
I didn't know that.
Now I have to love cats.
Well, he drew he liked the big cats, I think, but yeah.
Now I have to find out what Eisner Award likes most. If he also likes cats the most, I have to love cats.
Yep, if you want, he's good.
I have no choice. If he loves dogs, I can still consider it. But if he's a cat lover as well, I have no choice.
Yes, he's gonna be like Rick's gonna be like Mike Tyson and adopt a big cat. He's gonna like get like a snow leopard or something like that.
Well, I'll adopt you, and I'll be Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, and have adopted a chimpanzee.
There you go.
What's your favorite 80s song of all times? Not metal, just overall. If you have one, Cary, from the 80s.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I bring the tough questions here.
Hard questions. He's a hard interviewer.
What?
God, man. What comes to mind? I'm
drawing a blank. If you say Rick Astley, I'm gonna stop this interview right here now. No.
New Kids on the Block, Rick. New Kids on the Block.
Oh man, that's trauma. Now we're talking. You don't like the childhood trauma you're bringing up.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
How about this? While you think about that, you can give that answer later. But why do you hate AC/DC? How about that? What is it What is it about AC/DC that sets you off?
A better question is, why do people like AC/DC?
Yeah.
I don't see the reason. I don't see any reason.
It's because of Iron Man.
It's so overplayed. It's like still like 30, 40 years old. Stop it already. When does this band stop being relevant? So I've been something to hate on for them.
The lead singer of AC/DC as well. I mean, every time I see him of a scene, I get exhausted. It's like, chill, just stand still for 1 second. He's looking like he's having all kinds of attacks on the scene at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big doesn't like Van Halen ever. I don't hate them, but just never got it. I don't get why people are crazy about it. And I'm a guitar guy, so like I appreciate what he did. But at the same time, it's like their music doesn't have to keep playing on the radio every 10 minutes.
No.
I was telling one of the music jokes that Rick will never forgive me for is I said that I like Nickelback. And
oh my god.
Oh my god.
Awful.
And Cary says that as a Canadian, even he doesn't like them.
I think
it's an embarrassment. National embarrassment. Same with Bieber. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Bieber's Canadian too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But we also gave you Ryan Reynolds, so you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's funny. I forgot that Justin Bieber was Canadian, and of course Nickelback. Yeah, we won't even go there with Nickelback.
You went there, Gerald. Just let it be known. You went to this place yourself.
That's right. How much time do we got, Rick?
What do you say, Cary? Actually, your 20 minutes are up, but could you use 5 more minutes?
Yeah, we can.
Okay,
sure.
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, okay.
I think this is one of the weirdest challenges I've done. I mean, mixture-wise, it is. It's a fun one, though. I must admit, I was worried whether or not, Cary, you were able to draw cats because, as you said, I've never seen you draw. I've never seen cats in your art before, so I was little.
Yeah, it doesn't come up a lot.
I think Cary can draw anything. So.
Well, you guys must be Calvin and Hobbes fans.
Right? What?
You must be Calvin and Hobbes fans.
Oh yeah. I love. I actually have the big book with the almost full collection.
See, I hate to break it to you, but there's a cat in that.
What?
There's a very beloved cat in that series.
I know. But I like some cats. Then I just never want one myself, and another problem is they seem to cats seems to know when you don't like them. Have you I don't know if you realize that, but they do. So they start being extra clammy and all like really provocative and come up to you and want to cuddle, and you continue to try and push them away, and they won't have it.
Yep.
And that's just
cats and women, I think.
I was about to say the same thing. I'm glad you said it, and not me. Cats and women. That is one of the reasons why cats are being put up being more like women and more like dogs.
That's so funny.
I love your kiss cat.
I don't think it has anything to do with a Bengal, but oh well.
Well, just have some fun with it.
Well, you kind of covered it in paint and hairdo, so we can tell. So it's good. It's smart. That's smart art. That's smart arting right there, Cary.
Just take it out of the region altogether. Those are like orange cats, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of like black orangey, tigerish colors, dark orange, I'd say. I just googled. I just googled most well-known cat breeds, and I wrote them down on the wheel.
There you go.
I knew Maine Coon. I knew the blue Russian, and the bald one.
Oh, the Dr. Evil cat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was on there as well.
I'm sure they're very sweet animals, but I couldn't get.
No, they kind of freak me out.
They do. They're kind of scary looking.
I also once saw one of my online friends have one that was born with no eyes.
What?
That made it look even scarier.
Born with no eyes.
What was there? Nothing, just like skin.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was like a little bump in the skin that showed that there could have been eyes in a weird way, but not as if there had been eyes like all the way down in, but just a little bump, like, oh no.
Interesting.
That was that freaked me out just a little tad more than usual. Okay, guys, time is up.
Time is up. Okay, all right. For the weird challenge that we had here, which Rick is going to blame on me in terms of.
Seeing that Cary ended up liking it, I'll take it back as being mine.
Okay. Whoa! Look at that! I love it. Oh, jeez.
Mister, I've never done cats before.
I know. Look at this. This is awesome.
I like this.
Cary, you totally nailed it. It actually kind of we were talking about Calvin and Hobbes because Hobbes is I guess he's a Bengal tiger. I don't know. It's just
he's supposed to be a tiger, yeah.
A tiger, yeah. But I could see we could see Kiss version of this. That looks really, really cool, Cary. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Rose to the challenge. That
was fun. Right, it's always fun when you get to do something you've never done before. So
but this time let's see Gerald's now.
Oh, okay. So
mostly because I'm not ready to share Heartstation.
So I'm not as familiar with Anthrax, but I remember there's a guy named what's his name? He's bald, but he has like this really long beard.
Yes.
Ian?
Yeah.
Ian, I guess. Yeah. But I couldn't do the shaved head. All I could do is he had that signature long, almost not ZZ Top kind of beard, but he had like a long beard that kind of forked. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. He doesn't look like a. I couldn't put personify.
Yeah, Jared's a cat. It's okay.
It looks like from the Aristocats. He's like evil looking.
Oh yeah,
Aristocats 80s metal.
Right. Hopefully he kind of. I don't even know if he looks Siamese. He just looks like a cat.
I can see it. I can see it.
Okay. I think you're just being nice.
I can see it as well. I can see it as well. You did the paws and the black eye, the black. They have on the forearms and the tail. Yeah, you did it right.
Okay. All right. Cool. Hopefully we got some. Oh gosh! Look at that.
Maverick.
Oh, shit.
What was the?
I can't even remember.
Did we all do flying V guitars?
Yeah,
I think most of you did because that's what 80s were known for, right?
Yeah, right.
It
was like Pantera.
Yeah, it was Pantera. I can't remember the cat.
Right. Oh wow! Look at that!
How did you do that quickly? No way.
That's the Rionico brothers. They are insanely quick. They say it's because they drink Filipino water. So I guess that's it. And I need some of that water because my Danish water just makes me lazy. And from Sarah Semper.
Sarah.
He didn't know the bands. He didn't know the cat, so he had to look it up. It looks good.
I can see that's like Dimebag, isn't it?
Yo, that is Daryl Dimebag from Pantera. I can see that.
Hilarious.
Sarah, I could actually
nailed it.
Without putting any others down, but you and Cary's were the closest to like have a resemblance of an actual band member of the show. I'm not putting everybody down because everybody did an amazing job, but I'd say when it came to likenesses, I think the Kiss cat and and the Dimebag cat here.
Oh yeah,
really close, really good, guys. Everybody.
Awesome,
and,
awesome.
Let me just do a quick update, see if there was any more.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
I like it. That one looks scary.
I thought I was covering an album or logo. Turns out this is completely unrelated to the band. Okay, this was the reference. You thought this was a Pantera album. Yeah, I get it. I understand why you're the confusion. Of course, because it's a Panther. Yeah, makes sense.
It looks great. It looks great.
Really nice and dark and evil. Very metal.
Great job, everybody.
All right, that was a fun challenge.
I know. I'm happy I came up with it.
It's all. I'm gonna say it was all Rick that came up with it. But thank you, Cary, for sharing your love of '80s hair metal, heavy metal bands and cats. We got to do something a little cool. Yeah, I got something really cool. All right, so apparently we've gotten lots of love for this challenge. So Rick, that was all you. That had nothing to do with me. I'll give you complete credit for that.
It's what I do.
Yeah. So let's keep the ball rolling because I want to share this with everybody. So this is the character off to the right. This is King Nok, and I'm going to let. When we get into the drawing challenge, Rick obviously is going to ask some questions, but we'll also let Cary kind of like give, without spoilers, talking a little bit about who King Nok is, why he's after Soul. Is he after her soul? I don't know. It's just getting to figure out like what I know. Bad joke. But just it's so neat to see also like when you designed him. You can elaborate on this, but usually the stars are very a positive thing, and here you're using it for a villain. So I would like, when we get to the drawing part of it, to talk a little bit about his costume design, if you don't want to go too deep in terms of like going into spoiler territory. But you can see from this particular piece, you can see the little Min. There's like Min in his hands. So like King Nok, I mean, he's like a giant in this particular piece. So just very cool. So do a screen capture of this if you want to draw along with us. I'm really looking forward to what our audience will do with King Nok, because he looks evil, and it's going to be really neat to see what this is about. So do your screen capture right now. King Nok is off on the right with the stars, and Rick, it's all in your hands now. You do the interview.
That's 5 minutes
for me and 10 minutes for Cary.
15 minutes again. That's usually how I do it. I usually say 20 minutes for my challenges because they are little tougher.
Oops.
So what are you doing, Joe? I thought you said this was my turn.
It is your turn. You go for it. I'm just trying to get my art camp back up, but you go ahead and you run the show.
Now you stumped me. I had the perfect question, and now you just stumped me. God. It's so hard to be professional here. No. I'm kidding. Kidding aside, guys, remember this is your last chance to draw along with Cary Nord. Now I'm gonna try stop fanboying. So you got your Eisner. You started. Did you start conning before or after? After you got your Eisner Award, did you do cons before that?
Comics or Conan?
No, cons, like conventions.
Oh, conventions. Little conventions were what they are now. So yeah, there'd be like little conventions and community centers around stuff where I grew up. Okay. Yeah, nothing like today's conventions that are just massive.
So my question would have been if you felt a big change from just before and just after the award, if there were more focus on you or more attention on you, or it did or nothing really changed like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I was sort of isolated from the comics community, so I didn't really, even after winning, like I didn't really change my day-to-day life. I was still doing Conan. I did it for 4 years, and then I was happy to see that, like, after Conan, like, you know, Marvel and DC were all very excited to be working for them, which was nice, you know. So that was about the notice. The first time I noticed, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not just some guy no one's ever heard of anymore. So let's put my name on the map a little bit. So
that was from a guy that seems to always have had that that humble approach to life. That must have been a fun experience, realizing that, like, oh, I'm not just nobody anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, people knew me from, like, you know, a few select things. You know, people knew me on Daredevil a little bit, but yeah, nothing like Conan, which is kind of, I guess, attests to how popular the book was when we were doing it. Because people weren't necessarily Conan fans, but they were really sticking around for the stories and art. And Kurt Busiek was, like, such an awesome writer too. Like, when you get to work with like these really high-end writers, you really notice I guess the difference in quality. Not to disparage anyone, but, like, it's just they have that thing. It's like, oh, this is why these guys are, like, top of the food chain.
So yeah, that was also going to be a question, that if because you can easily notice with an artist whether they're really good or really bad, but it's harder for when people just look at the comic and find that in the writer, after all, because
yeah, it is. Hey, like, it's a little more. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. It's a little more ambiguous, I guess, where if it's the writing or what makes the comic good. But I know I can certainly tell when you're working with a really, really good writer. It's like, oh, this is so easy, and it just flows. And I'm invested when I'm drawing. It's like, wait a second, what happens next? Turn the page.
I can imagine. I mean, if an artist can invoke your like instant pictures in your head when they're telling the story to you that you're working on, I guess that's what you mean with that's a good writer in your book.
That's it's interesting to say that you said that too. One of the things that, obviously, that's, like, I'm a first-time writer, so I don't expect my writing to be, you know, winning any awards anytime soon. But you never know. But
like another Eisner, you win another Eisner. I think so.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm doing that I noticed maybe a lot of comic book writers don't necessarily do is I'm leading with my skill set or my strengths, which is, like, you know, visual. So I'm thinking, like, when I'm writing a scene, it's like, what's the visual hook here? You know, what's going to make this whole page exciting? So I'm writing with that in mind, which I'm not sure. I'm sure writers do to some extent, but yeah, that's just a very prominent thing in my mind. And then when I think about who the great writers I've worked with are, they all do that. You know, they all have these big visual hooks. It's like, oh, so I just learned a little thing about writing. It's like you have to really paint that world as if you were a painter, you know?
So you kind of, even if you might not have done it on quote unquote purpose, when you worked with them, you still kind of took their work process into you when you started working as a writer yourself.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And it's funny how it's the same as art almost, like the same way you gather influences art. Like, as soon as I started doing this, writing, as soon as I started trying to write, it's like all of a sudden I'm, like, recalling all the stuff I've ever read. It's like, oh, I remember how he did that scene, how he played those characters off each other. So now that I'm thinking about it, that world's starting to open up. If that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I really love hearing about it. So you write out. So you write, even though you work on it on your own, you still write out the whole story as if you were going to pass it off to another artist, or is it is it simpler writing than that?
I tried to do that for the first 5 pages, then I'm like, nowhere. So I'm like, fall back on my strengths. It's like I just laid out the story in, like, with pencils, and kind of have a rough idea of the plots and a little bit of back and forth there, changing things where I needed to. But yeah, I'm, like, leaving the the scripting for like the word balloons and all that for when I'm done, the art. And I'll make little notes here and there. But yeah, my writing process is, you can probably guess the answer, is a big mess. I'm just trying to do it all and try to make something that looks like a comic book.
Yeah, because I could see it as unnecessary extra work to write the story as a writer when you're passing it on to yourself anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I learned I got to work with Mike Mignola on Conan for 3 issues, which was a big fanboy moment for me because I was a huge fan. And his scripts were just like basically page layouts with hand scribbled notes on the side.
Oh.
And that was the script I got, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. I wish, and Mike Mignola had, little layouts. Like, wow, it's like, talk about a guy that's really nailed the process of simplifying to exactly what you need, and nothing else is.
Absolutely. Speaking of shape stories, yeah, I can imagine he was great working with. But also, I also been told like Stan Lee, when he wrote, he basically left everything up to the artist when it came to the creative side. He only like made simple things that he needed in the story, and then everything else was kind of do this, and you're on your own. Come up with something yourself. At least that's what I've read and been told. Yeah. And so there's a lot of approaches. I've also seen who did the first many Ultimate X-Men's.
The Ultimates?
Ultimate X-Men. He recently jumped to and did Superman.
Are you talking about the writer or?
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, he got that. He got that intricate like movies kind of script when he writes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. So he said the writing there basically leaves nothing to the artist other than.
That's pretty common in comics to get that full script. Most of my scripts have been that way.
Which one do you prefer?
Honestly, like it depends on the job, I suppose. But most of the time, it's nice when they do the work for you. You don't have to think about it. You just draw, and don't have to like worry about much, because the plot style thing is fun for a little bit, but then it's like, oh man, I got to think now. And when you're in a rush to get it finished, it's like not necessarily the best time to be, thinking.
Yeah, get that.
Get it done. So but for my own work, I obviously, like you said, I don't need to go into that much detail. Although I think it's a good skill to develop.
Yeah, who knows? You might once be a writer for someone else and end up getting another. No, I need to stop with the awards.
So, have you plotted out like for Folklore? How many issues have you kind of written for? Like, are you kind of winging it and seeing how things kind of go from like the first issue, or do you already have it plotted out for like the next 100 issues or something like that?
I think I have it planned for like 4 or 5, 6 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see how it goes. Like, if people stop caring, then I obviously won't go to 6. But
I'll care.
Yeah, you'll care.
Oh, that sounded a little bit too.
Yeah. So I've got enough plotted out. I can stretch it a little bit if I need to. But yeah, definitely not going to be like 100 issues or anything like that. I do want to have an ending to it and move on to something else.
So you definitely have an ending in plan or planned out already. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like story, and I've come to that point where stories that doesn't seem to ever have an ending, like continuation comic stories like Superman, Spider-Man, and stuff like that. It's not. I don't find that as interesting anymore. You know.
Yeah, there's nothing on the line. You know, it's like they're going to be back next month no matter what happens. So.
And that's why my favorite superhero comic, Jared hates me when I speak of this, but is Invincible.
Yeah, is that right? I haven't never read it, to be honest.
Oh,
I'll forgive you because you're Cary Nord.
Now,
but it's class writing from start to finish with awesome art.
Yeah, I love his work for sure. No, I honestly don't read that many comics anymore.
You know, well, you're making comics, so then I guess that makes up for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really even intentional. I just, time, and then when you're done drawing comics all day, the last thing I want to do is look at a comic.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually started when I wake up and have my breakfast. I start reading comics to like get in the mood a little more.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
That's how I do it instead of ending it, because I know when I'm done work, even if it's not even comic work, I'm not in the mood of reading. I've strained my eyes enough with the work, right? So
right.
I just watch a TV show that you don't have to focus on or listen to some music before you fall asleep on the couch.
And then you write. Then you wake up and read a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little before I get too far away from it. Remember, tell us a little about Knock. I'm guessing that's short for Nocturnal.
Oh, cool. No, it's I love all these little meetings people are putting into this. It's awesome. King Knock it's again just a Russian word for night, and I think German for darkness or something. I can't remember. Or night. I don't know.
No,
anyway,
that's Nacht. Nacht is night.
Yeah, right. But at any rate, it's Russian for night.
Yep.
So he's just the king of darkness, or the god of darkness, and he's kind of the one who's destroying the heavens and kind of turning humanity against itself and ruining the world. He's just out to like ruin everyone's day, basically. And
he's basically,
sorry?
He's basically the Grinch.
He's the Grinch, yeah.
He doesn't like anybody, and he want to make sure they know it.
Yeah, he wants to make sure you're not having a good time.
Wait, I feel is this is basically me as well.
You're my new inspiration. Anytime I have a question, he's like, "What would you do in this situation?" And I'm like, "There we go."
He's gonna call you up and say, I have a creative block, Rick. What would you do for this?"
Stop it. Just I'll send you a bracelet that says WWRD. What would Rick do?
I like it.
So he's just a grumpy old kid that wants everybody to suffer like him.
Yeah, got this plan to kind of take over heaven and earth, and it's going great until this soul shows up and starts wrecking things for him. So he's got to go and take care of that so he can get on with ruling, heaven and earth. So that's basically his whole story, or his motivation, anyway.
From what little I was about to say I have seen of Folklore, and because I'm sure there's plenty more to come with the comics, I really like the whole contrast feel that you seem to be focused on also in your artwork itself. You usually do good contrast, but I feel like you really dialed it up in this comic here. Was that thought out process on purpose? Because the enemy is night, the female is day. So opposite, and you wanted to put that in the way you produce as well, the art.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like such an easy theme, It's like, every time I'm talking about the bad guy, he's in black, and every time we're talking about the good person, it's like white. It's like or oranges and sunlight and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I really like it. Yeah, well, it's my turn now to be the host. If you could just draw instead of interrupting me, okay?
Okay, all right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Go for it. Go for it.
I really like it because, again, I'm gonna use this word, and every time I say it, I feel bad because it's not meant to be a mean bad when I say simple, but the storytelling is itself like good versus bad. The contrast. Yeah. When you break your overall thinking down, as we do here when we've been interviewing you, it just seems so like face-palming simple sometimes. Like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. It's so simple when you get it explained, and you're showing people that comics and stories in comics doesn't have to be complex to work, because you have the simple idea. You're running with it, and it absolutely works from what I can tell, and I'm looking forward to seeing it work when I get the comic. And it all just works. And
again, kind of like what I was saying with color theory or something. I don't know a lot about color theory, to be honest, but I know a couple things, and I just stick to what I know. So I think the simpler it is, the easier it is to manage in general. With art or writing or anything, in life, you just keep it. I'm a minimalist. Like, the less clutter I have, the easier it is to get my point across. And
now I'm sat here reconsidering my almost 20 years of realistic focus on art, and how everything should be so realistic as possible.
Well, no, that's there's a simplicity in that too, right? Like. Yeah, I mean, those like old school painters are some of my heroes, like those old masters. And there's a very, you know what I'm talking about. Like, one of the first things you do is break down the big forms, right?
Yeah.
Into manageable, things, and then you build from there.
One of the most relaxing things for me is just seeing those brush strokes, how they slowly take form, and just enjoy every brush stroke there is, without overthinking where you put them. Just let them build things up slowly and slowly and slowly. That's and you can do that easily, and kind of like you do right now in digital. You can do it anywhere. It's one of the most relaxing things for me. Even just watching it, or do it yourself. If you find pleasure in the little things like that, it doesn't really matter whether it's simpler or hyper realism or whatever it is, as long as you find enjoyment in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Yeah. So, what were you?
No, you're the guest. You're the guest. So
I was gonna say, well, it'll come back.
Gerald, did you have the question? Oh, I was going to ask about the stars, like for his design. Is he kind of like a sorcerer, or
he's just the god of night. So
god of night. Those stars, the nocturnal. Stars in the night sky, right? I guess.
What I want, I don't know if this will even happen, but initially the concept was just like, Spawn's cape is just like completely wild and out of control.
Yes.
So I wanted something like this ridiculously big cape, but it always kind of disappears into the universe, if that makes sense. So it's full of stars. So they start off at first as sort of, these kind of cartoon type stars. And then as the cape gets longer, the night's darker, you look up and sort of just fades away into the actual sky, was the plan.
Oh,
I get it. Totally.
Other than that, it's just like, one thing that I think I wanted to mention too, because you were talking about the name of Folklore yesterday, and where that came from. I think we were sort of touching on a little bit. And basically this whole thing, we were just talking about the simplicity a minute ago, and the whole thing was started off as a fairy tale. That's really all I wanted to do. So I was trying to keep it very basic, in the theme, and the characters, like, It's the good guy, it's the bad guy. It's night versus day. It's love versus hate. Cold versus warmth. Like, it's very simple. So the name Folklore obviously is it sounds like folklore, which it is, but the spelling was just right out of the phonetic spelling from the dictionary. I just thought it looked cool, and that's basically as close as it gets. So it's supposed to be a fairy tale.
I like that. It's again simplicity, as you said, and I love everything about it. You got. I was about to say you got 10 seconds, but let's give it 2 minutes. Let's see 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
2-minute bell.
Oh man, this has
So,
been.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, Gerald, go ahead. I was just about to fanboy again, but that can wait.
Okay. Well, actually, the question I'm going to ask, I'll save for later because we're going to talk more about the campaign and how successful it was. But so, Rick, go ahead. Get your question ready to go.
I'm just enjoying this so much. I'm giddy and everything. Normally because it's very late here, I'm starting to feel it now around this time. But I'm just I can't even explain it. Yeah. Anyways, that's me being a professional host. Right now, I'm just being a little giddy fanboy.
I think Rick was just going to tell you, Cary, that he wants to carry your luggage if you ever go on vacation. He'll be very happy.
I'll carry it even if you're not going on vacation. I'll just stand in your hallway.
It sounds like stealing.
No, I'll just stand in your hallway holding it.
Stand in your hallway. That's a little creepy.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, we're definitely big fans of you, Cary.
There's a fine line between a fanboy and stalker.
Well, the whole what is it? The meaning behind fan? It's just a shortened version of fanatic.
Right.
Yeah.
All makes sense.
Now after we're done here, Cary goes out and buy extra locks for his doors and windows.
It's a good thing I'm Canadian. We're not buying guns.
I was about to say, Vikings discovered Canada once. I can do it again.
That's so funny.
It's been a blast for me.
Uh-huh.
I'm
just so happy. Yeah, I'm just so happy that your camera is behaving, Cary. Ever since
I'm amazed.
It's like your computer has said, I'm going to cooperate now and make sure that the show goes well.
Yeah, I'm amazed. It wasn't looking good there for a while.
Yeah, your computer is kind of like a cat. When it realizes it doesn't get the attention it wants, it's just like, okay, fine.
Right.
Just do what you want. Just do what you want. Yeah, I have seen you sometimes look up with a worried look, Cary, as if, oh, something's wrong. No, good. Something's wrong. Good. What you do here? Now you're doing the whole silhouette. And now that we said that, his cam is frozen.
Oh no!
You jinxed it.
Yeah, his cam is frozen. Okay, you can still talk. That's the most important part.
Oh, it's working. It's not frozen. I can see.
Okay, it's frozen for me. So as long as it works for you, it's fine.
My face is frozen. You see that?
Oh no, it's your face. Okay, that's just how I look. Thank you very much.
I'm concentrating.
That's deep thought. That's creativity. That's the creativity expression. Yeah.
Okay, so pencils down, guys.
Pencils down.
Yeah.
Okay. I went a little crazy and decided, you know what? If Cary says that sloppy messy is awesome, then I'm gonna do sloppy messy. So
yes, embrace it.
I embraced it. I totally channeled my inner Cary, art leaning. So anyway, so let's see what we got. Oh, geez. I wish that we got a little bit of screen lag, but I can see it.
I see it proper. There's no for me.
That looks fantastic.
But Cary's cam is still frozen in a really funny way. I should almost screenshot it and send it to you afterwards, Cary.
As long as we can hear him. Cary, you can hear him. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to touch anything now.
Okay. All right, so you want to zoom in and kind of like because we were talking about like compositional, just how you think about things, and I like how he's a little bit on he's on a diagonal, and he's looking downward, and it's like it's almost like that whole scene like from MCU when you have Loki and he's like talking down to like humans. It's like King Knock is like here going, mere mortals bow before me, type expression where he's looking down on the lesser people.
Right on. I like it. Yeah.
And it's just so cool because you use the blue palette and with that brown element to like kind of frame it. And it has all the, we were talking about that whole storytelling, the implied narrative. I'm already getting it. I'm getting that vibe. Rick, are you seeing a story too, or what do you think?
Yeah, as I was about to say, when he was working on it, when he started adding the shapes and the cape darkness thing, it's so frustrating. His face is frozen. It really started showing a story, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Very cool.
Oh, was that your PC saying something bad there? Uh-oh.
No, that was my computer making a noise. So
okay.
That was
I really love it. I really like it a lot, and I can't wait to see if you decide to finish this and show it around.
Finish the drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Maybe in the comic could be a panel 7.
Yeah, you probably have enough drawings to work on as it is, so I wouldn't want to put extra on you. Anyways, let's go to the art show. See, we got hang on, let me try something real quick, okay? Because the some in the chat also only sees a frozen face. So let me try remove you for let me try and remove you for a second and then add you again, okay?
Yeah.
That didn't work for me at all, but anyways, this is from Victor Rufino once more. He really went all in with the giant.
Yeah, it looks sick. I love the angle too.
I like how he looks like a colossus and a giant, and and the expression. He's about ready to crush whoever that victim is there. So very cool.
Yeah, that's a tough angle too.
That's obviously Gerald. You see, he was starting to make the cat.
Yeah, he's about ready to crush me. That's me in King Knock's hand. So I'm about ready to get smashed here. So
we got
Maverick
here. He
awesome.
likes doing the more darker, slightly twisted, in the good way twisted.
Yeah, no,
art, and he nailed it. Absolutely.
Totally diabolical there, and the stars. I like how the stars look like they're like weeping,
dripping. Yeah.
It's like very very cool, Nav.
And we got one from Sarah Semper as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, Sarah likes to do like this Disney anime style. She's really so. If you ever want to do a folklore anime Disney style, you got to talk to Sarah.
Right on.
She's gonna be
definitely. Yeah, looks sweet. Nice work.
Let me update.
Very cool.
I saw a comment that someone else might have also. Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Last but not least, Marius.
Look at that. Yeah, Sarah, love that. The fairy tale element even in there, just the drawing looks, you know what I mean? He's got something magical in there. I like how like those little stars are starting to like twinkle up at the top by the head.
Mm-hmm. It almost looks like it's one of those Hubble telescope type illustrations where you see the like galaxy, like a Milky Way galaxy, and it looks like that's coming out of his collar there. And
there's just a little hint of like something magical about it, right? I love it.
Yes, really very cool. Awesome work, Marius.
That was it for now. Very good job, guys.
Oh,
all of you.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, fantastic. Here's my frozen face.
It's still beautiful.
Well, okay. Anyway, what we're gonna do is once we finish this live drawing segment, we're gonna actually ask because we don't need to worry about the art cam anymore after this. So, Cary, once we'll just show my drawing real quick, and then what we're gonna do is
I forgot. I completely forgot your drawing.
It's okay. It's okay. But after we do that, let's have you exit out and then use your iPad because it seems like that's reliable. Use the camera on your iPad. And we'll do the last part of the show with using your iPad so we can let your computer take a break. Sound good to you?
Do that now?
Oh, actually, yeah, maybe you want to do that now because your face is frozen and we want to be able to see your expression. So take a moment to go ahead and log out and then use your iPad to log back in with as your face cam.
All right, we'll see how this goes.
Okay, yeah. We'll give him a moment.
While he does that, everybody remember, follow him is down below here. His Instagram, his Instagram,
website,
and his website, and here for his original art.
Yes.
I need to go here. I hope they are shipping internationally. If not, I have to go to Canada and get it myself.
So, Cary, if Rick is outside your window and you see him like this, like peering outside your window,
this podcast, this interview part here suddenly changed.
He just wants art. He doesn't want. You don't have to let him inside.
Right.
He just wants art. At your earliest convenience, Cary, just go ahead.
He seems to be working on it right now.
Oh,
as
okay.
I can see
cool.
his other is changing around a little.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, go down there and show him some love.
On this brick of a computer to do anything. So.
There's an Apple joke in there somewhere, but I'll try not to say it.
Oh yeah, I think I'm not going to get an Apple.
Yeah, I think my art cam froze too, Rick. Is that true? It looks like it did.
Yeah.
Let me take that off the stream and plug it back in.
We really are haunted today.
Yes, exactly. I think it's all Apple products. Let me hold on one second.
Yes.
I'll plug it back in.
I'm so happy every time I don't have technical difficulties and y'all have, because I know then it's the Apple problem.
All right, so I'm going to go into my email and
go into your email. You should get have the link still.
I'm shutting down the other one.
Yep.
Okay, my art cam is good, so we'll get Cary back up on his iPad. So use your iPad cam. You can prop it up, and seems like that has better optics than your desktop.
So any last minute question you guys have in chat, now is the time to ask them if you have any. Mm-hmm. If you want to say thank you, if you want to just make a comment, and here at the end of the show, now is the time to be sure that Cary will get to see them.
Wow, I just looked at the comments field, 120 comments. That comment field lit up. Lots of
they like Cary.
Uh-huh. So we'll hopefully have him on here pretty soon.
Yes,
there
sir.
he is. Okay, let's get. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, we can see
I
you.
can't shut the other one down on my computer, but I don't think that's a problem, right?
No, it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
See you.
Yes.
As long as we.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Now I think.
Can you hear us? Hello.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Great. Okay. So let's go ahead and just show my art and get this out of the way, so we can start going toward the latter part of the show, and then
here it is. Yeah, that was great, huh? You didn't see it? Oh.
All right.
Okay. Nice.
So
we got the dynamics down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just and I think looking at it now, I think his shoulder is totally dislocated because it like goes way off to the other side. But anyway, it was to do it really quickly, and the anatomy's all messed up. But anyway, I just wanted to like just do something really fun with it.
It looks awesome, man. It's such a treat to see other people in their interpretations, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah, I think you're going to see more of it once Folklore is going to be mainstream. You're going to hear a lot about it, and Rick always hates it when I say this, but I'm ready for my Folklore Netflix special. I think it's,
I can see it work.
Yeah,
awesome. Me too.
Okay, so let's now that we finished the live drawing, I want to talk. Let's talk a little bit about the campaign, because even though it's closed, I want to show it because it's incredible in terms of the numbers that we got that were from that. So let me share this. Add to stream. Oh, how come it's...
I didn't touch anything here. This is all you.
Okay, no problem. Here we go. So here's the kit. Oh, I guess I'm getting a little lag here too. Apple computer. Here we go. So this is so impressive. Okay, so I want everybody to go check this out, because even though the campaign's over, there's a nice way. Actually, Cary, will people, even though the campaign is over, can people still like get this on demand, or is it something that you're going to do a little later on?
I haven't crossed that bridge yet. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to set up BackerKit, which will I think extend for more people. I don't really know how that works yet either, so
okay,
I'm not sure. I can't give you a definitive answer yet.
Right. Suggestion, and maybe you might want to do this. Indiegogo has like this great on-demand program that's separate.
Thanks, Maverick.
Yeah, because I think that if you were to use Indiegogo, you could just do on-demand, and basically Kickstarter is all or nothing. It gets funded or it doesn't get funded. Indiegogo, you can do a follow-up thing, and that way, if there's another 1,677 backers from Indiegogo, you can just print whatever you need.
How many?
Right.
That's what I was going to tell you. Okay, so if you look at the screen here.
Holy shit.
Given this is Canadian dollars, it's over 100K. 102,433 Canadian dollars. It's impressive. Now, your goal, Cary, was 10,000, and you got to 102.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The backers is what's so phenomenal too, because again, this is an inside joke that I have with Rick. It's like, unless, Cary, you have a super huge family and you got friends like in every province in Canada, 1,677 backers. That shows a lot of love, for your art. I think we talked about this yesterday. You probably didn't know that people just found your art to be that just resonate with them, and that they wanted to support your IP. I mean, how did you feel when this campaign closed?
I mean, I was not expecting anything like this. So obviously so grateful that people showed up and supported like that. It's just phenomenal. It's like I couldn't keep up with them, I was trying to I was looking at those what do you call them, the stretch goals. I'm like, I got the one for 60. I was like, oh, we already passed it, damn it. So it just went like rocket, like a rocket. It was like really amazing. Obviously, very grateful to people that supported, and the interest that I got. And honestly, it was my first campaign, and I hadn't really been following what's been going on Kickstarters. I heard people were doing well on them. So my first one, kind of, again, not really knowing what a good benchmark is, or what to expect. Like, I didn't really at first appreciate how significant that many backers was, but a few people just kept saying like, wow, that's a lot of backers for your first one.
That's impressive.
I
apologize. I really tried not to say the S word this whole show, but when I saw the backers, I had to. That was the one. That is the one S word that I'm allowed on the show.
You're allowed.
And
to get that PG-13 rating.
Yes, exactly. And Cary, I'm just looking at this. This is another example. It is censored, but this is tasteful. Tasteful nudity that's censored here. But again, I guess if you can see here, this is the style digitally. You know, you're blocking out shapes. You don't have to go into the hyper realism. I mean, it almost looks like this could actually translate to an animated style. It's so versatile. This new look that you're doing for Folklore, it fits it. It's phenomenal. I like how, and you found ways to put animals in here too.
Right. Yep.
I found the rabbits' faces are so funny to me for some reason. They're just.
Like, check this chick out.
I was about to say they're kind of like me when I see nudity.
It's like this deer is caught in a headlight.
Exactly.
No, the deer doesn't know how to react, so it just.
And then there's that one pervy owl on the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There's the owl. I forgot
that's me. That's me stalking from behind.
I'm gonna start crying. That's so funny. The pervy owl is Rick. But yeah,
I'm sorry. I just ruined this piece, didn't I?
Yeah.
But Cary, I aside from these phenomenal numbers that you got here, and this art style, I just like how, I mean, it has it's so ethereal. I mean, you have this really cool reflection that goes into the water. I mean, it's so atmospheric. And you keep on saying that you don't know what you're doing, but you do know what you're doing because it's intuitive. You know it feels right. You say that you don't have good color theory, but you do. Because you use limited color palette, but that's less is more. And you just where to add texture, where not to, where to put the details, and where not. I mean, it's really great. And what I like about your campaign, I think you had, aside from those number of backers that just really, were affected and wanted to support you, you have a talent pool of just well-known artists that wanted to contribute to your book too. And these are some examples of these covers. I'm going to scroll through these. If you want to talk a little bit about these contributing artists.
This is Tula Lote, who's if you're not following her on Instagram, you should, because she's fantastic. Really love her art. I didn't even think to approach these people. This was my business partner Andy, who's got his own. We're in Lethal Comics together.
Mm-hmm.
So he contacted. Are you getting echoes?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
I think maybe that's Gerald, or is that you?
I think I can hear him. It's okay if it echoes a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, keep on going.
It's not a little Gerald. It's not a little bit. It's like intruding bit. I had a hard time understanding Cary.
Okay.
I don't think. No, it's on you because Cary just muted himself.
It's me. Is that what you said?
Hang on. Trying to say something, Cary.
Hey, it sounds like it's you, Rick.
Yeah, I think it's you, Rick.
Oh, no. See, mine?
Now it's good.
Now it's gone.
Okay, well, go ahead, Cary. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Sorry about that.
At any rate, Tula's work is fantastic. So that was the first one that came in, I think, and it's the first time I'd seen anyone draw a character of mine, and I was like just blown away by how awesome it was. It's like I love, like I stole things too, like that little pattern on the dress, the little, I don't know what you call those things, the string with the discs. So she kind of added her own thing to it, which was like fantastic. Like, oh, that's cool. So I got to kind of build on that and added little pieces that I liked and took away from her art. So it sort of expands it, and it makes the whole world seem more real. And it's not just like something in my sketchbook. It's like other creators are putting their mark on it. It's just a really, really cool feeling.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're the classic Thor discs. I know that Thor from like the 80s, he used to have those discs on his costume. I don't know what those discs were, but it's like it adds when I saw it, I go, oh, it kind of reminds me of like that whole look from like those mythological characters like Thor.
Yes.
And she has the also like that are holding up her dress like near her shoulders at her collarbone. It also has that Thor vibe to it. So it adds to that whole Cary Nord Nordic I don't know kind of look to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
She also have in her face, I feel, and with her hair and all that, kind of a resemblance of an African look to her, like an African princess look to her. And then the mix of the Nordic when you go lower down, it's a great mix of a little bit of everything here.
Yeah, it was. Also, she picked. Everyone else did like the main character. This is the. Her name is Den, which is the goddess of day. So this is actually.
This isn't Soul. Okay.
A different. Yeah, it's a different character. It's like the goddess of day and the goddess of night. Or sorry, god of night, Knock. And anyway, Tula's the only one that picked a different character other than the main one, which was kind of cool too. You know, it's like, oh, and I like that you struck off on different territory. You know, because everyone else is putting in pictures of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
It's such, and I like the high contrast. You know, she's like glowing, and then you have like this dark background with a starry sky, and it just, you know, now that you said that she's like the goddess of the day it actually is more impactful to me. You know, when I know the context of the illustration.
Sure. Yeah.
I even like. Even the way that Tula did the, you know, her hands, her positioning, just really neat. You know, subtle things. I think that just goes to show that your characters they talk to.
They're basically just shapes. Her hands, basically just shapes. That's how good they are.
You don't see like individual digits. You just see the form, and that shows that she's glowing too. Like her hands are glowing. You don't need to see the defined fingers. But I guess we have here. This is Panosian, Dan Panosian, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm a big there's a guy. Look at the detail in that background.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I keep looking. I'm sure he put the Swamp Thing in there somewhere. I just can't see it.
Oh yeah.
But that's it's like such an awesome, crazy detailed background that he's so good at.
Yeah. I've watched his drink and draw, and it's always amazing seeing what that his whatever he does and whatever his crew comes up with. But to see him do something for you, now that you said Swamp Thing, I'm going to spend the next evening trying to find Swamp Thing.
Kind of look to the right of at the end of her dress thing. Look to the right. It looks like there's a head there. He's hiding right there, right? Don't you see?
And it looks like there's a hand, like you see
his hand.
If you look to the left, I'm pretty sure that's a shark too.
it's the
Sharkosaurus.
Sharkosaurus. Yes, he did a homage to Sharkosaurus. This looks really. When I got into this campaign, I had a hard time figuring out which one to buy because there was just so many classic covers. Here we have, this is the one from Carl Kerschel, and again, tasteful. This is done tastefully, even though it's centered here. It just shows her relationship with nature, and and I like the shadows here because it's not using a black outline. It's using a flesh tone outline, and even these shadows, they're not like hard edges. I don't know how it would feel to have my own. Eventually, I would love to have my own comic and my own character, but Cary, you must be like on cloud 9 to see your characters interpreted by these professionals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This one
treat.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this one. For some reason, I'm thinking Cinderella-ish in this one with the birds and her look. I like it. Anyway, sorry, I was interrupting you.
No, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things that with this Inception too. Like, I wanted her to, when we first meet her, she's going to be this sort of, basically, I even titled that in the script, like the Disney princess part. So where she is just like kind of communing with nature, and animals are just drawn to her, and like got this very positive healing effect. But one of the things that's going to happen is that'll come into sharp contrast with the rest of the world. When she meets up with when she gets on her journey, and she, that whole thing is going to be like, whoa, this is This isn't Kansas anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think we talked a little bit about one of my favorite fantasy movies yesterday. We were talking about Legend, and everybody will knock Legend because Tom Cruise is like that fairy tale hero, but it had to have one of the best villains, that super darkness with those super massive horns. But I look at this piece, and you kind of when you told me about how it's going to be introduced, it's kind of like that whole fairy tale land that looks so pristine and so pleasant, and then King Knock comes to town, and he wants to basically I think in Legend, once the unicorn horn is chopped off, it plunges everything in the darkness, and I kind of get that vibe that King Knock is going to be like that darkness character. It's going to bring chaos to the world of Soul, and we have here, this is Rick, this is done by one of our former Let It Out guests, Andy.
I could see Andy Belanti. Yeah. That just screams his work.
It does. And again, just
amazing artist.
Yeah, your work has just really drawn some top talent. And one of the things that I want to mention too, because it's good that we ended here with, that we out of these contributing artist covers, your crew, your studio, when you guys, you already had fame, you had an Eisner Award from your work with Marvel, and now you said, I almost say this is like you guys being your own image studios. You decide, I'm gonna you're comfortable, you're known at Marvel, you're known at the big two, or from big one with Marvel, and now you said, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out there with the other professionals, other friends who are just as talented, and form Lethal Comics. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it right there. It's like, it came down to a thing where we're all just working really hard, and it's like after you've been in this for a couple of decades, you start realizing when do I start doing the thing for me? I just keep working for other people. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, what this is for us. It was just everyone just kind of ready to do their own thing and put their own mark in the world. And then we're like, well, why not do it together?
Yeah.
We can use cool resources and share fan bases and promote that way, and it seemed like a win-win.
Yeah, and I think that was a brilliant move. With the whole pandemic, this is no time like the present to really strike out and kind of make your mark here. So I'm just scrolling through this, and this campaign is closed. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him on here while it was live, but he really didn't need, Cary didn't need our help. He totally blew past his goal. But
just a smidgen past his
just only 10 times his goal. So I want everybody to check out, you can search him out in Kickstarter. You can see what was available. Hopefully, Cary will do maybe an Indiegogo campaign where you can do it on demand. The best way to do that is to look at the scrolling ticker below, follow him, make sure that you follow him on Instagram, go to his website, commission his art, buy his artwork from Essential Sequential. But definitely do that, because I think this is a hit. I almost feel guilty for showing this, because it's if our audience, I'm sure they're
you won't get this. You won't get this.
They're fans of you, Cary, I'm sure, but they can't get this because the campaign is closed.
Currently, they can't get this.
Yeah. So,
hopefully it'll be back for the next campaign. You can get 1 and 2.
Yes. That is the way to do it, because you want to make sure that the people that supported you with this first campaign, they get something that's unique. And, if you decide to do an offering when you do issue 2, that you do maybe something that's a little different, because you know what, I'm gonna be a sucker for it. I'm gonna buy probably issue 1 if it has a different variant cover by you, so I'm gonna want to buy it as well. But so definitely check that out. So that being said, let's I'm gonna close this, and I want to move to the we're gonna get close to the Oscar speech part of the show. But before we get to that, I just want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the future, whether it's the future with with Folklore, and you mentioned I think that you only saw that as being like a 6-issue run, 5 to 6 issue run. So maybe, I don't know if you've thought about like something else that's going to be in the Folklore universe, or maybe you're going to do sci-fi. I have no idea. But I'd like you just to kind of talk about the future, and then we'll move to the Oscar speech. So go ahead, Cary.
The future is unknown, I guess. Yeah, like Kickstarter seemed like a no-brainer to me. You know, in terms of just like, I get to do everything I want to do. I don't have to answer anybody, and you know, it's, you know, frankly, more. I get more. I can make a better living this way. So, yeah, I can't imagine wanting to go back and doing anything else unless there's some serious, I don't know, negotiation.
Yes.
However, that said, yeah, Folklore, I think, if, you know, I can do 4 to 6, you know, if it's like insanely popular, it doesn't have to end anytime soon either. I think I'll just be reading the crowd and the response and going from there. Like, I don't really have a hardcore ending. I mean, I know the ending, and it will end. I just don't know exactly when, so that'll be sort of up in the air a little bit. Beyond that, I honestly haven't thought too much about it. I have other stories that, you know, little gems of stories that I wanted to explore, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Beyond that, like, I haven't thought too far ahead. I just want to get through this Kickstarter and get it out there, get it published and into people's hands, and then start thinking about the next one.
Okay. Actually, I think Rick and I were like competing, clicking on things. So great. I mean, I think that's enough of a tease to like let our audience know that Folklore could evolve. If anything, you know, this could be just Soul's story in this initial arc. And you know, you talked about the goddess of day, and you know, maybe like you could do prequels. You know, you could talk about, you know, King Knock before he became a king. You know, I don't know. There's all sorts of,
yeah. Oh, I've got a huge backstory that, you know, I kind of want to explore. That can be peppered into the main story, or you know, a bunch of characters that are going to be introduced, and you know, their stories, and you know, there's all sorts of possibilities. It's becoming a cool little world, you know.
I can see you being you're George Lucas. You know, you started out with that little universe, and all of a sudden it you know, I think it's taken off, and who knows, it could we could see Folklore.
And then in the end, Disney comes and steals it and destroys it. Oops, sorry. No. So that was too personal. That was a personal opinion. Sorry.
Well, you know, Rick jumped to the end. I want to say before that all happens, we're going to see Folklore toys. We're going to see Folklore the animated series. We're going to have Folklore. Oh, yeah. You know, we talked about this too. Is like if you had to fan cast, you know, Folklore, right. Like who would you like to see play as Soul, and who would you like to see play as King Knock? I don't know if you thought about that since we last talked. You don't have to give an answer, but
did you think about it?
Margot Robbie.
Who did you say? Margot Robbie?
Yeah, Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
I would do that just so I could meet her. Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
You're my lead.
I do like her. I think if she was, if it was before Suicide Squad, because now she's embraced the whole Harley Quinn look.
Yeah.
But if it was like after the Wolf of Wall Street,
she can still be that. It can still be innocent looking and have that. Innocence that I feel Soul should have.
Well, I think that she could be great as the goddess of day. You know, to have a little bit. You know, she's not super. You know, she's not like old, but she's older. And then you have a younger actress.
Wow!
Hey! Don't take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way. I just think that
Margot Robbie just stopped following comics. Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she's like really incensed hearing me say that, but I'm a big fan of Margot Robbie. So in terms of King Knock,
you're butchering his last name.
Yeah,
so bad.
Subject change. Yeah. King Knock. Everybody. I think, you know, when we looked at it, I think it'd be kind of neat to see. Everybody says, I'm sure people thought, well, Tom Hiddleston. But you need to do some prosthetics, make him look older, make him look a little bit. I liked what Morris and Maverick kind of did. Yeah, make him look older and a little bit more demonic.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I couldn't. Nothing comes to mind, to be honest with you, with these characters. Like I was hoping something would come kind of instinctually or intuitively, but I don't know the characters well enough yet.
Al Pacino. Mario says Al Pacino.
Yeah, I can see that. But you know what? You're the creator. We'll save that for when you come back to the show again. You can let us know the fan cast for that. I think that would be really brilliant to hear your thoughts, because who knows? The next time we have you on the show, maybe there is a folklore movie. I'm gonna say that's a possibility. But okay, so this is the part of the show where we're gonna wind it down. We had a marathon show. We have been live for over 3 hours now. Because Cary, we could honestly talk to you all day, but I don't want to take away all your time. And Rick has to get on a plane to stalk you. So he still has to get that book. That ticket.
No. I have my boat. I have my longboat. I'm finding him the good old way.
Okay, so there we go.
Like Vikings should find Canadians.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So let's move to the part of the show where we call it the Oscar speech, and that's.
In this, let's call it the Eisner speech.
Oh, the Eisner.
Yes, the Eisner speech, right? So
the speech I never got to. Yeah.
You never got to do. It's like you probably have the Eisner, on your shelf, and you're like going, I think this looks good beside my Christmas, award from from my sister or my brother from like years ago. But anyway, it's just really neat now that you know the how awesome that is. Like what an achievement it is, and we're just gonna say, hey, this is the Eisner speech. You can basically just give your your final thoughts, and if you have any thank yous, the mic is in your hands. So go for it.
Well, yeah. Oh, you guys. Do I have to be looking at myself? It's so weird.
No, if you prefer it this way, you can just look at it.
Yeah, I can't look at my own face talking to me. It just like throws me right off.
Okay, we'll leave it like this.
Yeah, I appreciate it though. Yeah, no, I'm just incredibly grateful for all the support that Folklore's got, and literally could not have happened without all the backers and fan support. And yeah, what a thing that is. Like one of the things that I love about independent is the relationship you build with your audience. And it's a little different than it is working for, Marvel or DC, because Marvel or DC, you're going to get your paycheck no matter what happens. Even if the book just bombs and no one buys it, you still get your money. But this time it's like way more intimate. You're just like especially during this last year or so, how hard things have been, and people are still, able to open their wallets and back something like this. So I know how much, $100 is or $50 is to me. So it means a lot that people are willing to put their money here, and they have so many options. They can go anywhere. So very grateful for that, for this opportunity to do this, and I really hope that people, love it when they see it.
They do.
Yeah.
They totally do. I do. And Rick does. So I think our audience does. And you made some really great points. And we talked about this during the pre-show yesterday. There is a degree of intimacy, a connection that you make with your fans that's kind of at a loss. And yes, Sarah, you took the words out of my mouth. You are so humble. You have tremendous talent.
He's Canadian. What do you expect?
Yes,
I have to be. It's in the Charter of Rights.
Yeah. It's amazing. You do amazing work. You do great, and you're a blast to talk to. Your work speaks for itself, and I just can't. I think we did our best to show what kind of person you are. I really, it was an honor. It was a total honor, to have you on the show. And, yeah, my money that I'm sending to help support this project, the best investment I ever made. So I'm happy to be a part of that. Yeah, here we got Mario saying, Cary, you're awesome. You are awesome.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So that being said, I want to move towards the end of the show, which is what we usually do. Let me stop sharing screen and share this real quick. And Rick's probably like going, TikTok, Gerald, get your stuff together.
No. I'm just, I'm enjoying the moment.
What time is it there? Are you like 8 hours ahead or something?
It's almost 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
not too bad.
I want to let you know, Cary, your draw for our show. A lot of the contributing artists, Sarah's from Egypt. The Rionico brothers, Maverick and Marius, they're from the Philippines. They're 12 hours difference.
Same with Victor and Roy.
Yes, Victor and Roy.
Way to hang in there, guys.
Yeah, it's almost 5 in the morning.
I forced them to, because I said, hey, you need to be here.
All right, so you got an international fan base.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Right on.
Here we go.
We got Michelle Dempster as well.
That's my cousin. Hey,
Ah.
how are you doing?
Oh yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
you got, she's the one of the thousands of backers that was a family member. that was
Yeah, right.
for Kickstarter. so anyway, this is the part of the show where we mentioned our charity partner. We have no financial ties to them, and it is something that we just like to do because the leadership of this particular organization, Golden Fight, this particular charity, is friends with the leadership here at Comics Cast, Joe Tolliver. And through Joe Tolliver, I met them. They are great. They're a great crew. And I just want to talk a little bit about Golden Fight now. If you look at the bottom, there's a URL. I would encourage you to check that out. You don't have to contribute, but I just would like you to ponder if you have a charity that you'd like to contribute to. This is one of those that's very worthy. Now, what they're worthy about is Golden Fight is a charity that's both big enough and small enough. Small enough in the sense that they are not a nationwide organization. They have a very focused approach, which is the Mid-Atlantic region where I live, which is like Virginia, Maryland, DC. And this is where they are big. This is where they are huge. They help families who have children that are dealing with very complicated terminal illnesses like cancer. And when parents are focusing on the healing of their child, the treatment of their child, that's where Golden Fight comes in, where they come to the rescue. They raise money, and I stand corrected because I thought it was only 98 to like 97% that they give back to when they raise money, giving that to the family. They actually give 100%. 100% of the money they raise goes to those families. The leadership and the people that work with Golden Fight, they do it out of love. They volunteer, and they know it's a worthy cause. So if you could check out Golden Fight, see what they're about. They're a great charity. They help kids with cancer, and help them beat it. And hopefully that'll be one of those days where we can like say cancer is gone, and we can have Golden Fight say that they were a part of helping those families that are dealing with that. So check out Golden Fight, and let me close that real quick. And for the last time, I want to show this, which is how you can, if you look at the ticker below, this is how you can like, follow, commission, find out when the next Folklore issue 2 or issue 200 drops. You can find Cary at these locations on the web. So check that out. Roy says, awesome show, everyone. It's awesome to finally know the man behind the art and demystify Cary. Yo, cool dude. I think that is true.
You're not mystic anymore, Cary. How does it feel?
Damn it.
You're gonna have to remove mystical from your resume. That's gonna be one of your gonna be one of your accolades you can remove.
Thanks, Roy. Thanks, Roy, for ruining that.
Yes. So Charles Dopes here says, "Hey guys, just stopped by to say hey." I think it's gone.
Just
at a show. Yeah. So like Charles, he's actually at a show and he dropped in to see you. He's actually at a con, Cary. So he really wanted to watch. Sarah says, "Do come by again, Cary." Yes, we are counting the days.
Can you come by next Sunday?
To your place? Yeah.
Oh yeah, even better.
Don't tease.
What's my
Rick,
luggage?
Yeah, because
I got your luggage.
You said you'd hold my luggage, so I'm holding you to it.
All right. Okay. Well, that being said, we're gonna end the show right here. So tune in next week. We have 2 shows that we're doing now on a weekend. We have The Process with Joe Tolliver, and then Rick and I we do here Let It Out. And Rick is going to be announcing his show with Vic Medina, the Art Trick show that's coming soon. Comics Cast is growing.
We are starting recordings for the shows as of tomorrow, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's gonna. So stay tuned for that. Comics Cast is officially incorporated. We're fleshing out phase 2, which we promised at the beginning of the year. We're working on that digital platform to unite the indie community. Stay tuned for more details about that. Some really big news, things that we want to close out the year strong. And 2022, more to do in 2022. Lots of stuff that we're going to be announcing. So big things happening. And today was a big day because, Cary, it was an honor to have somebody of your magnitude, your artistic presence, to have you here on the show. So thank you.
Mystical qualities. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not anymore.
No more mystical qualities. All right. So tune in next weekend for our next shows. Comics Cast out. And Rick, take us out. See you later.